The holidays are here, which is perfect timing for today's sponsor, OneSkin. We all know that with all the holiday fun and festivities comes stress and harsh weather that can really take a toll on your skin. But thanks to OneSkin's disruptive approach that targets skin aging at the source, you can finish off 2023 with your skin at its healthiest. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. OneSkin addresses skin health at the molecular level, targeting the root causes of aging so skin feels and appears younger. It's time to get started with your new face, eye, and body routine at a discounted rate today. New customers get 15% off with code REPS at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code REPS. The new year is approaching. Now is the best time to invest in your skin. Age healthy with OneSkin. Anybody else out there feel like they're losing their mind from time to time? Between home and work and kids and family and friends, I can't remember what I'm supposed to do from one day to the next. Since I've started Qualia Mind, brought to you by our sponsor Neurohacker, my mental acuity and clarity has improved so much. Neurohacker combines 28 of the most research-backed nootropic ingredients on Earth into the ultimate brain fuel formula, Qualia Mind. And it's been helping people's lives for years now. See what the best brain fuel formula on Earth can do for your mindset. Go to neurohacker.com/reps for up to $100 off Qualia Mind. And as a listener of Between the Reps, use code REPS at checkout for an additional 15% off any purchase. That's neurohacker.com/reps and use code REPS for an additional 15% off to experience life-changing mental performance from Qualia Mind. This episode of Between the Reps is brought to you by BetterHelp. In this crazy holiday season, sometimes you need a gift. You need the gift of self-care, and one of the best ways to do that is with BetterHelp. Therapy isn't just for people who have experienced major trauma. Therapy helps you in numerous ways. It has helped me to learn positive coping skills, how to set boundaries, and it has empowered me to feel like I can grow into the best version of myself. With all of the added pressures of the holiday season, don't forget to take care of you. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. In the season of giving, give yourself what you need with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/reps today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/reps.
Yeah, we want to get that hair beat. Brooke, you didn't have to dress. You didn't have to dress up for the last episode.
Listen, you guys.
You look like a working woman.
I am.
Not that bad. I've seen worse.
My hair was in a bun.
I've seen you wear worse.
I have no makeup on. That's when you think I don't get ready anymore. So I'm single. I don't get ready.
Yeah.
And I hang out with my nieces and nephews. So this is my jeans. This is my jeans.
This is my shirt.
I got a lot of accessories on. Honestly, why wouldn't have we ever just done the podcast like this? Like, hey guys, like we're huddling. And like, okay. It's been a day.
Oh my God. Hey guys, welcome to Between the Reps with Brooke, Deb, and Jeanna. This is our final episode. I don't know about you guys, but I was realizing
our final episode. It only took 5 years till Brooke all of a sudden gave up on getting ready.
Yeah, said fuck it.
You know what?
Fuck it. I think we're all on the fuck it stage. You know what I realized though? So when you guys are listening right now, on our last episode, we said that, you know, if you wanted to write in and give us a question and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, wait.
We're recording before our podcast comes out.
We're recording this before that podcast comes out. So then I was like, well, shit, now I just feel bad. So if you guys do write in, I mean, I know I would be willing to like write back. I know Brooke, you would be willing to write back, right?
Yep.
If someone emailed, like we could like, we'll go through them.
Yes.
And at least
y'all,
respond to you, which is what we have not done in the past.
No.
Rarely.
Listen, I feel like potentially first and foremost, I know that we'll probably just record one more thing, even if we just record something and we post it so you guys can watch the final episode on my YouTube channel, because that's where they go anyways. Because we can just post it. Because I do feel like if we don't, like this could end up being like the worst relationship our listeners have ever been in. Like 5-year relationship, and we're like, bye.
Right.
Sorry, we don't have time.
See ya. Yeah. Just fucking ghost them. Like, we're just ghosting our followers.
Like they've literally kept us doing this for 5 years, and we just were like, all right. all of them were like, I guess we'll just go fuck ourselves then.
We're like, oh, it's not you with us.
Like, this is what our loyalty gets us.
You're like, you're welcome.
Yeah. So it'll just depend on the response, right? Like, I mean, if we get more than a few emails, then we can address those. But we'll figure it out.
You know what's funny? Do either one of you have a glass of? Okay, I see your wine.
Hey, okay. I was telling Devin,
I broke out the big bottle.
So awesome. You did. Yeah, you did. I didn't have any champagne, so I was dying.
This is what I have.
Oh, well, that works.
I brought it back up.
Perfect.
Okay, good.
Perfect. Okay.
Because
so we all have something to toast with. So it's funny because I was just showing Devin, I was rushing to get ready. I'll put all my stuff away. And I poured a glass of wine and I knocked it over. So there's that.
Oh.
And then my glass of wine is still sitting on this, what did we call this? What is this?
Your runner?
Yeah, a runner. So my glass is sitting on the runner. And so I run and I grab this to like throw, like I'm like dabbing it. And I pick the runner up to get underneath it and then spill it again.
Oh, dude.
It was just like, it's been, so I'm down to, I'm good.
I just want you to check something for me.
What?
Look under the runner.
That's what I did.
It's okay.
How your table's doing?
Yeah, the table's fine.
Your table is not red? Okay.
No, the table's fine.
Okay.
I like dabbed it and wiped it underneath, and that's what spilled the second glass of wine.
You dabbed it?
I dabbed it.
Stupid.
I am stupid.
I dabbed it. Oh my God. Remember that was a thing? I mean, I don't really remember because let's be honest, I was already too old to dab when dabbing came out.
Yeah, same. All the kids were like, hey. They're like, hey, dab.
We're like, oh my God, that all the youth is convulsing. What is happening? All these seizures.
Goodness.
Oh, the kids these days.
For real,
those kids.
For real.
Yeah. Anyway,
my little nephew is so freaking cute. I can't.
Which one?
Even.
Drew boy.
You know what he says?
What?
Well, he's been doing this thing now with Robin, where you'll say I love you, and he goes, okay.
Not reciprocal at all.
No, and you're like, I love you, and he goes, okay. And you're like, say it back. And he looks at you and just goes, just squints at you. But then he started doing this, and it just, my gosh, fills me with so much happiness. He'll out of nowhere, he'll go run up to me. He did it the other day for the first time, and now he does it all the time. He'll run up and go, Bookie, you know how much I love you. And I'm like, oh, I love you too.
I know.
Dude.
So cute.
Gosh. And he just, my parents, everyone, they're like, he just got you whooped. And I'm like,
yeah, he does.
Yeah. I'm like, I love that he loves me so much. And it's like, I just need that. Where I'm like, where you want to go. And it's gone extreme enough that I was over at Robin's house, my sister, and the kids were in the kitchen. We stopped and picked up dinner, and I was in her room. She showed me something, and she got little sugar gliders for the boys. They got 2 sugar gliders, and so we were in there with them. And I thought
glider, like a candy.
No, it's an animal. It's a marsupial.
Oh! I saw that on your story.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know what that was. My sister was asking me. She goes, "What was that thing?
Yeah,
what was that thing?" And I go, "Did it look like a cross between like a monkey and a squirrel?"
I've decided
it has those big bug eyes, like pug eyes.
It looks so. It's in the kangaroo family.
Marsupial. Ferrets?
No. They look like a cross, like a my dad we were calling them frats. A fruit bat and a rat.
Oh yeah.
Because that face, like the big eyes in their ears, reminds me of like a fruit bat minus their like weird nose.
But they're fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're pretty cute, and they fly. Like they can jump, like, kind of like flying squirrels.
And you can have those as a pet.
Oh yeah. So apparently
are they friendly?
Like, they bond with you, and like
really?
They're pouch animals. So you like carry them around, and they're nocturnal. So they sleep during the day, especially if you don't play with them. You're supposed to like as you get them more bonded with you, interact with them, make them move earlier, so then they'll maybe sleep at night, like part of the night.
Yeah, I was gonna say that might be a nightmare. You know what I mean? Like having an animal that's just awake all night.
Their cage is in Robin Jare's room.
Oh my God.
And the first night she was laughing. She goes, dude, they went nuts in there. They're crawling and jumping. But they'll jump. Or the lady who was showcasing them, and that's where Robin got them at the Dickens Festival, Christmas Festival, says like they want to be close to you. Like they don't want to run away from you.
Yeah.
Like, my mom saw this video, and it was
perfect for a codependent.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Come on, where are you? One. Like,
I saw this. I know.
Hey, oh, that's ready to be.
Funny thing, Drew's, his name is Robbie Dino.
Okay.
And me and my dad were like, we're like, it's Robbie Dino. Like we correct Robin. Robin's like Dino. And I'm like, we and my dad are like, Robbie Dino. Like, get it right. Robbie Dino. It's Robbie Dino. And then Jax is Sparky. He had like 5 names. They couldn't land on one. But this video, my mom's, because you talk about things and your phone all of a sudden starts showing you all these cool videos or ads. It's this guy at the park, and he's got his sugar glider in his hand. And he fully just throws it in the air, like in the air at a park. And the camera, and he puts his hand down, and he lands right back in his hand.
No way.
Really?
I was like, dude, how fun would it be? We'll do challenges. We can see, we got 2 of them. When they're more bonded, it'd be like, we can see how far they'll jump.
Oh my God.
Right. Jump to me.
No sugar gliders have been injured in this video. It's like a pet boomerang.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He'll be back.
A boomerang.
He just like, you throw him and you're like, 1 second, just put your hand up, and he's like,
yeah. I feel like it's like like the eagle,
so cool.
like when you have the arm, like where they fly back
like
to
the hawk, like the hawk. I don't know what they're called.
A hawk.
But they have a name, like the guy or the person that like handles them and wears the glove, and but I don't remember what it's called.
I wonder how people get into that. I feel like kids that are into like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings or something.
Like birds. You're like Lord of the Rings.
Well, no, like fantasy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I need to get
but also I feel like a lot of kids, a good assumption is that if they're into like real fantasy and like then they get into like Dungeons and Dragons, they don't have the balls to handle a hawk.
No, because like
they're scared. They're scared kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're scared kids.
I mean, I would be scared too, but some kids are not, dude. Freak like Maisie.
I would like, oh no, that's a scared kid. That's a scared kid.
Oh, sorry, that's a scared kid.
Yeah, that's a scared kid.
Yeah, but you're a scared kid.
Will you hold this fountain? No? Oh, you're a scared kid.
You're a scared kid. You know what? Instead of calling people like, if I want to be like, you're a pussy, now I'm just gonna be like, dude, you're such a scared kid.
You're a scared kid.
What are you, a scared kid?
Such a scared kid. You scared? Are you a scared kid?
Are you a scared kid?
Just out there bullying children.
Scared kid with like the most like mild, comments. Scared kid. What are you, a scared kid?
Just like you really got one.
You guys got a scared kid over here. You guys got a scared kid over here. It's Jeanna.
It is me. Dude. Daniel scares me so much now that
I know, I see all the videos.
No, I've been getting scared at work for no reason. Like I'll just be sitting at my desk and
you're jumpy now constantly.
Jumpy. Yeah. And so like there's this one lady that always comes over from our garden center, like drop off, cash or whatever. And she like will open the door and I'll go, oh, and she goes, I'm not sneaking up on you. Why do you do that every time I come in? I go, I know. Yeah. I just have a friend that scares me all the time. I'm very jumpy.
Dude,
I'm like PTSD. Oh, yeah. God.
Oh, man.
All right. So, last episode. This is it.
What?
So go ahead. Go ahead, Deb.
Well, I was going to say, I've been involved behind the scenes since you started.
Mm-hmm.
And, used to listen to all the episodes and had to do all the, posts and everything for them.
I had to listen to all the episodes.
You guys, I've been around for a while and I had to do so many things for you. We're like, Devin.
All right. Sorry, Deb. Yes, go ahead.
I got to.
Yes. Yeah, that's much better. Much better.
Thank you.
What are some of your favorite episodes?
We were texting earlier and you had said that. I don't know, B, do you have one? Because I feel like your answer is going to be the same as mine. Because like through this whole journey, we've never known what we're going to talk about and we don't ever listen to them.
No, the only times we've known what we're going to talk about is when we've had guests on.
Yeah.
And it's like, we know like what they are specialists in or whatever is they are doing.
Right.
I think one episode that was a pretty good one was your pelvic floor. But what was the name of
one?
Yes, but what was the name of that device?
I don't remember the name of the device, but let me find it. Hold on.
I thought that one was pretty fun just because just super interesting. And especially that is a problem that's way more common than people probably realize, especially if they don't deal with it themselves. I don't deal with peeing while I exercise, but I have helped. A lot of ladies and women do deal with it, and not just after babies. Like that's what's crazy,
right? Well, that's what was interesting in that. Yeah. Is that it's like people who have never had children are dealing with it because it's more of an athletic thing.
Yep, and it's like they were using it for when you're overactive. Like if your pelvic floor is overactive, can cause you extreme discomfort. And I have friends that have dealt with that, and it's just like it was like an off the wall topic, or even not topic, subject, and like subject matter and science and data that's being done and that she's done that, again, if you don't personally deal with it, or even for like my mindset, right? Like being in sport and knowing ladies that were like under the age of 24 and peed every time they did a squat clean.
Right.
And that's where the conversation we had is like, one, you probably have a lot of young women. Well, for sure, at that age, that should not be a problem. Like you should not be peeing uncontrollably. Right. And you just don't realize like your pelvic floor, just like when you talk about feet, like all the muscles that are in your feet and the discussion of like when you have knee pain or back pain, a lot of the time it's if you just addressed your feet, like your arches or how tight they are, how you walk, what kind of shoes you're wearing, you could solve a lot of problems up from there. And
from the
started
from the bottom, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. But you just want you forget. It's like we forget how much work our hands do, how much work our feet do, and then all of a sudden when you're really tied up, like I remember one year training for regionals and my forearms, like my palms and all through my forearms were in just knots. Like, and I just ached and hurt, and there wasn't anything I could do for myself. I got like a massage and she worked on my forearms and it definitely made me cry. And I remember just hearing like, it was as if I had cables, like just all the tightness in there. But I never, in my mind, it was like, well, what did I do? you know?
Yeah.
You forget that every time we're gripping something, like all these, the muscles that we use constantly and we forget that we're using them all the time, like you're in your feet. So we also forget about our pelvic floor muscles. We're like, oh, they just know what they're supposed to do. Well, sometimes they don't.
They don't. Apparently. Right.
So thank goodness for people. Oh, you did.
What was it?
Yeah. It's episode 117 and it's Marilyn Ryder and it's the Yarlap.
Yarlap. I remember because it was like, it had something to do with sailing.
Yep.
Because her and her dad sailed.
Oh,
something like that. Yeah.
The holidays are here, which is perfect timing for today's sponsor, OneSkin. We all know that with all the holiday fun and festivities comes stress and harsh weather that can really take a toll on your skin. But thanks to OneSkin's disruptive approach that targets skin aging at the source, you can finish off 2023 with your skin at its healthiest. What makes OneSkin the best? Well, their products are powered by a groundbreaking peptide, OS1, which is the first ingredient scientifically proven to prevent the accumulation of aged cells, which are the primary culprit behind skin aging. The real magic is OS1 has actually been proven in the lab to reduce the biological age of skin by several years, meaning it not only prevents but slows down skin aging, leaving you with healthier, more hydrated, and glowing skin. Personally, what I love about OneSkin is that they have products that you can use all over your body, not just your face, because your face isn't the only part of your body that shows signs of aging. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. OneSkin addresses skin health at the molecular level, targeting the root causes of aging so skin feels and appears younger. It's time to get started with your new face, eye, and body routine at a discounted rate today. New customers get 15% off with code REPS at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code REPS. The new year is approaching. Now is the best time to invest in your skin. Age healthy with OneSkin. Anybody else out there feel like they're losing their mind from time to time? Between home and work and kids and family and friends, I can't remember what I'm supposed to do from one day to the next. Since I've started Qualia Mind, brought to you by our sponsor Neurohacker, my mental acuity and clarity has improved so much. Neurohacker combines 28 of the most research-backed nootropic ingredients on Earth into the ultimate brain fuel formula, Qualia Mind. And it's been helping people's lives for years now. The formula is non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, and the ingredients are meant to complement one another, factoring in each ingredient's effect on supporting mental clarity. It's also backed by a 100-day money-back guarantee, so you have almost 3 months to try it without any financial risk and just decide for yourself. See what the best brain fuel formula on earth can do for your mindset. Go to neurohacker.com/reps for up to $100 off Qualia Mind. And as a listener of Between the Reps, use code REPS at checkout for an additional 15% off any purchase. That's neurohacker.com/reps and use code REPS for an additional 15% off to experience life-changing mental performance from Qualia Mind.
I mean, I don't have a favorite episode. I think my favorite episodes were always the one where it was just us talking and then something like you would say something that would surprise the shit out of me and I would just start dying laughing or the other way around. And it was just like, there were some, like, I mean, let's be honest, there were some that we would do that we were like, oh, that was bad.
Yeah, we're like, they made us.
Yeah, that was bad.
Every time we would have one of those, we always started the next episode up with like, yo, we understand if you're like, we're done.
Yeah. You know? I don't know why. Yeah. I mean, there were times when I was like, oh my God, why would anybody listen to this bullshit?
Well, you read some of the comments and it's like, some of like the mean.
Yeah, I love the mean ones. I love the mean ones.
But there were so many that were just like, I was dying laughing in my car listening to
yeah.
you guys. I probably looked like an absolute fool, but thank you for the good laugh.
Dude, those are my favorite. I remember getting messages from people, men and women, men who would listen to it in their headphones, like at the gym.
Yeah.
And I definitely can't remember like what the comment was or what the episode was, but this person was like, they were laughing so hard and they're at the gym, and what we're talking about and what they're like laughing, they had to like, they would pause it and like look around, like make sure no one was listening. Like some dude at the gym, like listen to me and Jeanna, like,
well, and those were always like the surprising comments, right? Like, because you're like, oh, I mean, I could see how women would understand what we're talking about. It. We're women.
Yep.
We're just being, we're just talking about like real shit. But then to like have men laugh about it, you were kind of like, oh, okay. Okay.
Well, and even more than that, I mean,
something here.
Like we've been doing this for 5 years.
I know.
Mm-hmm. That's what's crazy. Is like it definitely doesn't feel like it's been 5 years. And you'd think that if we've been doing it for 5 years, at some point we would have been like, people like it, but yet we're still like, I mean, do they like it? Like, are we entertaining?
I mean, it's so true. Funny?
And
it's because we really want to listen to this.
It's because our self-esteem is so low.
I know. We're always fighting to pretend, faking it till we make it.
Yeah. We're faking it until we made it to like where we didn't even realize that we had made it.
Yep. But I will tell all you guys that are listening, what has definitely kept us doing this is not only you guys listening, because we kept needing to record more, and they never told us like, you guys suck, we gotta kick you out of the team.
Yeah.
It was the messages to our email, but also like to my DMs and conversations with people in person. Like, you truly, and this is a comment for everyone listening, because this pertains to you in your life. You truly do not know what positive effect you are having on people. And it's not like this direct conversation where we're problem solving for you, right? It's not this direct conversation where we're talking about whatever your problems are and I'm going to help you through them. It's us just, I personally think, being vulnerable and being honest and having hard conversation, whether it's about our own personal stuff and being willing to discuss some things, and also having listeners be able to, I guess, be there through the process of like working through something. And more than anything, I think that our easy to listen to, we're hilarious. We're hilarious. It can offer so much help just through the healing of, I guess, joy. Being like,
well, and almost feeling like,
oh my gosh, it's not just me.
It's not just me. Yes. That's what I was going to say, Deb, is like not feeling like I'm the only person that deals with this, or, you know, and I think a lot of that is, it's funny because Brooke, you remember this. It's like at the beginning when we sat around the big table and I was shitting my pants.
Oh my God.
And
you had hives.
I had hives.
I was like, I'm getting hives. And I was like, Jean Marie, it's going to be fine.
I had no idea what we were doing. And, having to do it like in a studio, and like you had experience with that. I was just like, what the fuck am I doing here? But it was so interesting how they really wanted us to come up with a format. Like we had to have a format.
Remember that meeting? And I was like, our format is no format.
And they were like, you have to have like, what's your concept and your format?
What are what are the topics? Like, what is this? What's it about? And we're like,
I know. Well, you were talking, but I was just like this. I was like,
it was like
shrugging my shoulders. Like,
she was like, we've come really unprepared.
Yeah. I was literally sitting there going like, I don't even know why I'm here. Like whatever she says, I don't know.
Okay.
But I am happy that we decided, you decided that we weren't going to just kind of go with what they were suggesting, because I think that has been like the biggest input that we've had is that, it's just like I'm sitting with my girlfriends, or it's just like, you guys are having the same conversations that I'm having with my girlfriends on the, or it's like I'm on the couch with you, or, and that's really been gratifying, I think, for us to realize like, going with what, we wanted to do actually benefited us, and it did reach so many more people than trying to have this like format. Remember when we would like try to research things on the way to the studio?
Yes. Well, that was when we first started, we were recording in studio in LA. And so we would go down, we'd be there for like a week, and we would record a bunch of episodes.
Like a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Because then we'd go back and be out of town. And it was just so funny, us doing that, because we really tried.
We did really
tried, and we also didn't at the same time. And that is how we got to where we are today. And
well, I think that we both are like total procrastinators, to where it would be like, we'd like wait till the very last, minute. And then I'd be like, oh shit, like we were going to talk about eyelashes today. We should look and see some information. We should like, hurry, get some experts on anything. What the fuck are you doing?
What are some fun facts about eyelashes? You know how many mites live on
Oh my God, that still fucks me up. I haven't had eyelashes since.
Dude, I don't have any either.
Yeah.
So I still have mine because I didn't look it up.
Dude, no, that's not why I don't have mine.
Devin, don't look it up.
Hers.
I won't.
Don't look it up.
I don't have mine because COVID. And then I think I just got so accustomed to not having them that I never like went and got my lashes put back on. There are times when I miss them all the time. I do miss them all the time when anytime I'm doing video or photos, just because I have little eyes and my eyelashes are super blonde. And when you have some lashes on, it really just kind of opens your eye.
Yeah. It gives it a little pop.
Yeah.
I know.
And I think what I love the most about lashes is like, you didn't have to, if you weren't doing like a full
Let's hear it.
I was going to say something that I've never said and I've never really done, but you'll get it. If you're not doing a full face of makeup.
A full face of makeup. I don't think we've ever done a full face of makeup.
Like if you're not wearing a bunch of makeup, like for me, going to the gym, and we're at the gym all the time. That's what we do. You could still feel a little put together.
Yeah. You would wake up feeling like somewhat decent.
Yeah, especially if you had like you slept, you didn't move a lot, and you woke up, you're like, oh, my hair still looks great. And you're like, look at my eyelashes.
I'm good to go.
Instead, I've just got the ones, the lashes that God bless me with. And
yeah, but like you're doing right now, the beauty of not having the lashes is you can rub them, man.
I think that's why I didn't end up going back. When we had to finally get them taken off, and they were falling off during COVID and everything like that, those first showers where you're just like, you just rub them. It's like you're rubbing them, and as you rub them, they get itchier, and then you rub them harder.
It's like an eye orgasm.
Oh yeah.
It is.
It is.
Okay. Hey, on that note,
I fell off in Thailand, and I got to rub again. And I was like, man, I don't know if I can go back.
You're like, man, that feels so good.
So good.
Well, so I think since we had started doing the episodes, I had already become I'm allergic to my lashes. So I would just do fake lashes all the time. Yep. And man, I would baby those things. Like I couldn't even roll the car door down or car window down. No.
Because they'd go, it'd be like a dandelion, and you like blow a dandelion.
It was. Wait. Oh my God, I can't go anywhere without my lashes.
Now you got feet, you can't go anywhere without.
I know.
What's so funny is I told my dad, I was like, Dad, me and Jeanna on the podcast and Devin, we talked about like all these weird things that are happening to us that are like old signs. We're getting a little bit uglier. And I'm like, we talked about Jeanna, how she can't wear sandals anymore.
He has a funka toe.
He was dying. I was like, yeah, her toes are curling. He goes,
yeah, my toes are curling.
He said, soon you won't care anymore, and you'll wear whatever you want.
I know. I'm gonna be that lady at Target wearing the Birks, just the old nasty Birks with like the cracked heels and the nasty toes.
You may actually not have the cracked heels because I feel like, you got to spend out there. It's like you got to spend some time like either walking barefoot or at the beach in the sand. It's something to dry those suckers out.
I mean, that's true. That is true. I am kind of and I do like
I'll tell you. Let me pull my sock off really quick.
Do you have the cheese grater for your heels, Jeanna?
I have it's like the petty something. I don't know what it is.
Pet egg?
Petty egg?
Yeah, it looks like the petty egg.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have one of those too.
I've had it for years. We actually talked about it on this one time because remember, I can't remember why we talked about it.
Oh, we did. It was the shaving.
Yeah, it was the shaving.
Was it a would you rather?
It was a would you rather. I think it was a would you rather.
It was.
Oh my God. And it's so gross, man. Like I will just be like going to town on that thing. And it just looks like gray dust. Yep. It's just, it's nasty.
I mean, it is, I think we also talked about, if you're listening, you know what the petty egg is. And you've got like all the different like handled ones you can file your feet.
Yeah.
They're always in like the pharmacy section of the grocery store. But the one that's like a straight razor,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And you like it's like almost like they have like that those for cheese ones. They have the big ones for cheese.
Dude, I would
you gotta be careful with those. Yeah, you gotta
I got too aggressive with that. Not that long ago.
Oh really?
Devin's like, my shoe size is smaller.
Right? Big cuts.
She's dude, like, I went from an 8.5 to an 8.
You have to be so careful with those because, like, if you get like the slightest wrong angle, it's going straight in, and it's taking a huge chunk out.
Yeah,
and that
I won't get one of those.
Yeah, no.
That's why I like my little petty egg.
I'd say leave it to the professionals, but leave it to the professionals. But depending on where you go to get a pedicure.
Yeah, that's how I got the fungus.
Yeah, they may not be that professional.
No,
Exhibit A, Jeanna's fungus foot.
My fungi foot.
Yeah.
Fungi foot.
My fungi foot.
I got a fungi foot.
I would show it to you right now. Show it to you.
I bet that scared kid has a fungi foot.
Dude, it is so gross. Like look at my big toenail.
Okay, guys, you gotta go to YouTube and
it's gonna be too hard
to see the fungi toe.
No, you're not gonna be able to see it. Ew.
Take a picture of it with your phone.
I put my fungal medicine on this morning.
I did.
Dude, it's like, oh, it's so ugly.
My toenail started to curl really bad right before it popped off the first time.
Well, yeah. I mean that, yeah.
Now it's as if it wants
oh my God,
back.
This is so embarrassing. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I don't know.
You're so gross.
I'm so gross.
Gosh. Would you rather lick Jeanna's toenail?
So what's crazy, it looks so yellow, but what's crazy is that it is like not even attached to my toe, like where
the back or the sides,
to like all the way down until like where you see the color change. You see it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Probably gonna lose it.
It's nasty, dude.
I mean, do we want to share pictures of toes? Because if you feel a little insecure about yours, I can show you mine.
I feel like there's
don't show too much. We can charge for that shit.
Not our listeners aren't that
guys.
Our listeners are not into fungi toes.
We ended between the reps, but we're starting fungi toe only.
Hopefully they have better class than that. Oh my God.
Well, I don't know, Jeanna, if they're listening to this, and they've been with us for 5 years or close to it, they might really get the kick out of our toes.
They might.
This episode of Between the Reps is brought to you by BetterHelp. In this crazy holiday season, sometimes you need a gift. You need the gift of self-care, and one of the best ways to do that is with BetterHelp. Therapy isn't just for people who have experienced major trauma. Therapy helps you in numerous ways. It has helped me to learn positive coping skills, how to set boundaries, and it has empowered me to feel like I can grow into the best version of myself. With all of the added pressures of the holiday season, don't forget to take care of you. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. In the season of giving, give yourself what you
What's hard is like I think
you have fine feet.
I think I danced. I wore point shoes. So that's that thing. I wore point shoes in college too. But the thing about my feet is I've got like this weird mixture between my mom's and my dad's feet.
Okay.
You know?
You have a hybrid.
Oh yeah. And I mean, it wouldn't be your first choice. You know?
I have a question. If you had a choice between one or the other, which one would you pick?
Mom.
Okay. Well, I don't know
for sure. Yeah, mom.
I have my mom's feet, and I have these. So I've always been this long. Yeah, I've had this. I'm this like long, gangly person
with these tiny feet,
with these like small feet, with these short little fat toes, like really small toes. They're the weirdest thing, and they look like little. I don't know. They're like little.
Are they little smokies?
They are little
smaller,
smokies.
like a smoky cut.
They're little smokies.
They're just weird. I don't know. They just don't match the rest of me at all.
Dude.
And I don't have long, slender fingers. I just have like these big palms and like, these big, thick. Yeah, but you have like thinner fingers. Like I have.
But I got fat knuckles, man.
I mean, I have really fat fingers, and people don't even realize it because my hands are so big that they don't realize it until like I try on like one of their rings, like a normal sized person.
And you're like,
and it barely fits my pinky because
like,
yeah, they're like narrow on my fingers are like narrow on the end.
Yeah,
so my nail beds are small.
They're like little, they get thicker.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like little,
are they like candy corns?
They're like,
a little bit.
Yeah. Or baby carrots. Baby carrots. We've talked about it before. But my toes are bizarre because they're, you know how like most people's second toe is longer than their first toe, or at least longer. My second toe is my shortest toe.
Oh yeah, I do not remember you have that.
Yeah. And I swear to God, I only have one knuckle in that toe.
Well, I have one toe that's like my dad's. I have one toe that's like my dad's feet. It's not promising. And I have one toe. Gosh, I'm putting this out there in the open.
Yeah, do it.
You know what? Who cares? You guys already see me, how gross I am. I have one toe that will undoubtedly be a hammer toe.
Which one is it?
My second one?
Your second toe.
I would show you guys my feet right now, but I just took my socks off and I've worked pretty hard today. And I've got some lint.
I just showed my fucking funky toe.
I mean, do you want me to take a picture for you?
Yeah.
You know what, guys? I'm going to show you my second toe. It's right next to my ugly big toe.
My second toe is shorter.
Okay.
And this smaller than the rest of my toes.
This is the bottom of my foot. I have a really high instep. All right, guys. This is our biggest ratings on a video ever. And they're like, it was their final video, and they finally showed us their feet. Finally. I have like a high instep. My foot is, hey guys, my foot is skinnier in the middle.
Yeah, you do have a skinny foot in the middle.
But it's wider in the front. And that's kind of the shape of my mom's feet. But here's the real.
Here's the clincher.
This is why I'm single. Okay.
No.
I have this one. I don't even know if you can see it. This toe. So my second toe this one's as long as my big toe.
Uh-huh.
But it's got this like, gosh, I can't even do it. I got to show it to you though. Okay. This is so stupid. This is stupid.
I know, we're dumb.
But this one toe, it kind of wants to curl. That second knuckle on it, it wants to sit up high, which then would eventually could turn into one of these.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let that happen.
From the bottom, it looks like I just have 4 toes.
I know. That's why as soon as you put your foot up, Jeanna.
Because look, it's like this. It's like,
where's the baby? Where's the baby?
No, it's shorter. It's shorter than all of them. Where's the
There he is.
There he is. Oh my God.
Oh man. So yes, I danced my whole life. I danced into college, all grown up into college. Point shoes in my feet.
I danced my whole life. I just imagine you just always
in college.
I feel like I just got a little shocked in my ears. Weird. When I stopped doing point, my feet definitely started to feel just a lot better all the time. My left foot,
everyone's like,
is more normal. My left foot is more like normal.
Yeah.
My right foot, the reason it's not as normal is because I just have that one toe,
that one outlier.
And I like to make people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And so I don't want my dad to feel bad about his toes, and his feet are impressive.
Well, like your dad gives a flying shit about
No, he don't. No, he don't. But every time.
No, he don't. No, he don't.
No, he don't.
Hims does.
Hims does.
Hims does not.
Hims does something.
But my sister, me and Lacey, we're convinced she has my dad's wrists.
Oh.
And I'm like, me too. Like, we got to go to the hand doctor. My grandma has this, and my dad does too. Plus, like, arthritis makes it worse, obviously. Plus, like, on my dad's the thumb joint down, like, closer to the wrist, his arthritis has basically, this joint has been like, it's gone. So his thumb wants to sit down in his hand here. And my dad is, he's the fucking man, right? We all know this.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I could have known Gina's dad, because I know he would have been the fucking man too.
My dad, I know.
And Devin's dad, dude,
I got my dad's gobbler.
My dad's man.
You got your dad's gobbler, and I've got his feet, his wrists, and his hairline.
Yeah, but at least you can I don't know, hide it. I can't hide this gobbler.
It's from my dad.
Yeah, this is like from my daddy.
It's from my dad.
My dad's high blood pressure.
But my grandma has it on both of her hands. And so she's got like a brace that she'll wear that pops that thumb out, like the joint out. But my dad's he's had surgery. One hand has been fused, his wrist, and he's going to be having the other one done. And he is a little stressed about it, because we're going to have a bidet in this house.
Oh,
nice.
So
we know how I am with bidets.
I know it. To be honest, Jeanna Marie, we have had so many good moments in our relationship.
We have had
together,
so many good moments.
but that is one of them. Dude, greatest moment ever. Greatest moment ever. I almost shit outside.
I know.
Because we got locked out of our little, I want to say
villa.
cabana, our villa.
I was going to say villa.
And we got inside.
We did get inside. I mean, that's the thing is like, if anything.
And Jeanna.
Shit in the bidet.
Shit in the bidet.
I did.
Honest mistake.
Honest mistake.
Devin, and I know we've told this story because I remember when I told it and Jeanna was like, did not love I told it. But this is why we tell our embarrassing stories, because they're funny. We have to share the laughs with you.
They are so funny.
And the moment that this happened was the funniest shit. I'm in the room, Jeanna's in the bathroom, door shut, and I just hear,
oh no.
Oh no. And I go, what? And she goes, don't come in here. Don't come in here. Don't come in here. So what am I doing? I'm trying to go in there. This bitch shit in the bidet.
Oh my God. And the thing is like, people are going to be like, in the bidet, like, because like now, like a lot of like American bidets are like one toilet.
There's like a remote on the wall.
Right. This is classic. Like classic Italian. There's two toilets. What looks like two toilets. And one is very shallow with a drain in it.
It and almost looks like a mix between a toilet and like a drinking fountain. Yeah. Drinking fountain.
And I'm drunk and I sit down and I'm like, oh, this feels weird. Because I'm literally just.
Here's the thing though, Dev, is like a regular toilet. You got like the seat and the lid.
Right.
We got a regular toilet. We got a bidet. Regular toilet, seat and lid. Although I don't know if it probably had a lid on it.
No, I think it was open. I think that's why I went for it first.
I mean, I'm going to let you run with that, but I also honestly, my assumption is that was the closest one. And
you're right.
And you were like, yeah, that's the toilet. Sat down, even though she's sitting basically on a toilet with no seat on it. So you know how you'd almost like be inside of the toilet, and it's like this shallow. There's no hole at the bottom.
I'm going to tell you, Jeanna, though, when I was in Brazil with Brooke in 2018, that was the first time I had ever had a hotel room that had a bidet
and a toilet.
Yeah. And it was kind of, there was a moment where I was like,
what can I do in there?
It can't be just me. It can't be just me. Well, the problem was the problem was I did sit down and I thought, this doesn't. And I was also,
but it was also too late.
It's too late. And it's like you're having this like horror happening in your head as it's happening, and you're like, oh no.
You're like, can't stop it now.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do?
I have to finish.
Whether you finished or pinched it off, you still had to get it out. You still had to fix the situation.
And I could have just like pulled it off and like never said anything and just taken care of it. But no, I had to say it out loud because that's what I do. I'm like, oh no. And then she's like,
it was like, yes.
Wait, what?
My feelers were like,
what has happened?
Jeanna's in distress. Where is she? Hurry. I'm coming in. Don't come in here.
I cannot tell you. It's funny because like through Brooke, through our friendship, I cannot tell you. I mean, we all know, like I am 20 years older than Brooke. And I cannot tell you how many times Brooke has had to basically be my mother in situations. It is embarrassing because like I've raised 4 children and they're very capable, but I don't know what it is. It's like she's like I'm realizing obviously as I've gotten older that I am a giant airhead, and I cannot tell you how many times Brooke would like find something for me or help me with something. I mean, it's absolutely insane. It's been And it's been lovely because at least I don't know if it's because we became friends and she's such a nurturing, loving person that I was like, fuck it.
All right, I don't got kids no more.
I don't have to take care of myself.
Well, we always said that though, you know?
Oh my God.
You take care of me and I take care of you.
I do take care of you, but in different ways.
It happens at different times. Yeah.
But man, I mean, let's be honest, Brooke, how many times have we've traveled together? I mean, I've never traveled so much in my life until like you and I became friends, and I've traveled so much with you. And I swear to God, there's rarely a time when there's not some kind of glitch that has happened because of something I've forgotten or something I've done. And Brooke always is like, it's okay, baby. I got it. I got it.
I got it.
You know,
I did.
Like, I swear to God, I don't even know how I got to this age without you. Like,
yeah, well, I'm like, we're gonna figure this out, and then like my shit falls apart, and you're like, it's okay, come here. Mine's like emotional turmoil, mentally in my heart. My life's literally it's going 100 miles an hour, and I've got a lot of issues, and I don't know how to manage things. And Jeanna's like, it's okay,
it's okay.
It's okay. Call Devin.
Jeanna's like,
yeah,
Brooke, I can't find this. I'm like, all right, I got it.
Yeah, where's my debit card?
Just give me a minute. I'll find it. It's one of my favorite activities. This is my favorite game we play.
It is.
Oh my God. When you lost your wallet in Austin.
Mine. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
And I was like, and you text me and I'm like, oh no.
Oh no, it's not good. Devin's like full blown, like looking into like all the things for like identity theft and making sure we're getting things done, and which we never actually even completed any of that shit. It's almost like I found the wallet and we were like, whew, that was all the things that could save me next time. We'll just
but like the fact that you found it is bizarre because when we went back to that Airbnb, I think Dana had already left, or was she still with us? She'd already left. And it was just you and me and Colby, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, nope, we got to go back there. And I was like, I mean, it's not there. And we all like looked everywhere, and Brooke's just like looking everywhere. And the fact that it had fallen on the floor and then tilted up on its side underneath the dishwasher. So it was flat against like the island. I was like, how did you?
No idea.
And we walked through it at least like 5 times. Like, it's not here.
We left and we came back.
I know.
We left and I was like, we got to look one more time. I swear it's there.
I know. And in my head, I was like, Brooke, give it up. Like, it's gone.
I'm on the ground. I'm like,
it's gone.
Where is it? Where is it? Holy shit, I found it. I was panicking, dude. We were flying out that day. I was panicking. Devin, I got her on the line. She's like, all right, you'll be able to fly home. Not a problem. We'll do this, XYZ, blah, blah, blah.
This is what you have to do.
Yep. We found it though. That was a fun little trip.
That was a fun trip. I mean, if I remembered that podcast, I feel like that was a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We talked about Colby.
Dude, that was fun.
That's the one with Dana Lynn, right?
Yeah.
When he said he remember when he
a fat vagina is like giving him a hug.
Yeah. and then we were all at dinner, and we were with Ashley from
yes.
I don't know her last name, Ashley Kidd, yes. And so what's so funny is like this whole time I thought that was the nickname. That's her actual last name.
That's what it says on her Instagram.
No, I know, but that's what. No, like the cutest girl ever, right?
So
like
sweet,
this fucking badass, like snowboarder, wake surfer. And we're all at dinner, and Colby's kind of like,
all of a sudden he's like the cool guy, you know?
Yeah, he's like the cool guy.
Oh, that's our first dinner.
Yeah,
our first met her.
Yeah, when you talked about how he was with this girl, and he was gonna like lick her vagina, but she didn't want it.
Oh yeah.
And then all of us were like,
oh.
You what? He what?
The conversation was, but the topic was basically that not the topic was basically this, that like not all girls, women enjoy
having their
their vagina licked.
Yeah.
And Colby says this. He's like, well, yeah, you know, I was with this girl and I wanted to, and she didn't want it. And all of us were like,
no, that's
because you're bad at it. Actually, you know what? Let's be super honest, because we're honest. Okay. Jeanna probably fully was like, "You're bad at it."
It was me.
And I was like, and the rest of us were like, "Oh, it's not because she doesn't want it."
No, it's because you ever. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on if somebody's like comfortable with their body. I'm sure that there's somebody out there.
There's a lot of like nuances that really make it different. But
sure, it was too good an opportunity to not say it. It was too good an opportunity. Poor Colby. That guy.
I haven't seen.
Is that the same dinner that you made him yell, "I have gingivitis"?
No, that was the first dinner.
No, and then he got it.
I know. Dude, in fact, let's just tell that story really quick. Me and Jeanna, we're going to Austin. I'm meeting up with my friend Ashley Kidd. We're going to wake surf, and we do this trip, and we're vlogging and we're podcasting, and Dana met us.
Yeah.
First dinner, me and Jeanna get there. We go meet up with Ashley and her friend, cute little girlfriend was with her. And we're at this like rooftop bar in
downtown Austin.
Yeah, in Austin.
Yeah.
And we're having a few drinks. We're not like drinking because we're just stopped in. We didn't like, go out. It was we were surfing the next day. We went to dinner, had some drinks, and we're having some drinks. And it's me, Colby, Jeanna, and these two super
darling,
cute,
like super
girls. And these are like hot girls.
Yeah.
And they're younger, and like Colby's there, and me and Jeanna knew it. Like Colby's like cool guy.
He was extra
like,
cool.
Right.
He was cool. And me and Jeanna are like, that's a scared kid.
That's a
So then Jeanna wants to play. We're playing dares because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Like, how do you have a good time? Well, do you just play dares?
Yeah.
It's hilarious. You put in like some stipulations, some rules. Our rules are like no public nudity.
Yeah. You can't get arrested.
No getting arrested.
Yeah.
And maybe like you don't make someone do something that could like
hurt another person
or an altercation.
Yeah. Really, or like make fun of another person. Because like we're not mean people.
Or like someone end up like punching you.
Right.
The time you had to smell that girl's hair at that restaurant.
I did have to smell her hair.
I had to go sit at that random. There were two guys that were.
Oh, that was in Tahoe.
Insane clown mafia.
No, that's San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
And I had to go and sit next to them and eat their French fries.
And they said no.
No, one of them did.
One of them did.
I sat down. It was the end of the night, so you can imagine. I looked fantastic.
Sure.
And one guy go, "Hey, would it be all right? I'm really hungry if I just have like French fries." And the one guy was like, "No." And the other guy goes, "You can have some of mine."
Yeah.
I was like, "Thank you."
Oh my God.
No, man. But Colby, we start playing dares, and Jeanna dares him to yell,
I have gingivitis.
But there was something before that. No, the first thing you told him to yell, and he wouldn't do it.
Oh, you're right. It was too embarrassing.
I have a small penis. Or something like that. Yeah. And Colby would not do it.
Yeah.
And so then I dared Jeanna. I was like, okay, come on, Colby. I'm like, Jeanna, I dare you. You have to go dance on that waiter. Because we were up in like an area and there was music, and we were on the on the patio of the we were outside.
Yeah.
So this waiter is down at this other table, and she was like, "All right." And she goes over and she's behind him.
It's like,
and he's laughing, and she works her way back over and sits down. She's like, "Colby, come on, just yell, just be like, I have gingivitis." He wouldn't. Did he do it? He wouldn't do it.
He wouldn't do it.
The funniest shit though was what would you say? It was like
I want to say weeks later.
weeks, if not like a couple months later.
Mm-hmm.
And Colby was at the dentist, and I'm on the phone with him, and he like finished the dentist. He goes, "Fucking Jeanna." It's like, he goes, I went to the dentist, and he told me that I had gingivitis. Dude,
blaming me for giving him gingivitis. I was like, "Hey, man, if you just done the dare, you just stepped it up.
Cursed. That's what happened.
Yeah, you could have been cleared. Not my problem."
Dude, when he told me that, I laughed so hard. I'm like, dude, Gina's gonna die.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
So many good times.
Great time. In fact, we should plan another trip somewhere. I don't know where we're gonna go or when, but let's just say in the summer. Give us like real time.
No, Devin, I already decided. We're figuring something out with you.
Yeah.
I figured it out. It's been okay. So like if our listeners are still listening out there,
they're like,
yeah. Honestly, it's been like really hard since Brooke moved away.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's been like another thing of like why we can't do this anymore, because we don't have, it used to be easy because we don't have as many shared experiences. And although we still like are checking in, but Brooke and I are not the people that are like daily, like, "Hi, how are you? Oh, da da da."
No, and I'm awful at it. I
am too.
That's how I weeded out friends, because they're like, they hated me so much.
No, totally. But I think what's beautiful about our relationship is that it doesn't matter how much time goes by. We both know we love each other. We know that we don't want to do like the nonsense talk. Hi, how are you? Or any of that.
You're like, oh, twist the knife. How are you?
God. How are you? That's so open. There's so many things I can say. I'm going to be honest.
How long will this take?
Yeah.
Is my friend going to be upset if like I don't respond right away? Like, what if they ask me like a real serious question? Like, what if I'm honest with them? Like, I'm terrible.
No.
And then but these are like things that not everybody worries about. And the only reason I think about them is because I've had so many experiences where people have high expectation.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to meet it.
I know.
I responded to you in my head.
Yeah. But you do respond in your head. But I will say this, I think doing this podcast is really, some of the people that have written in and, said like, I don't have friends like that. I mean, if anything, it's like really reminded me how special having this relationship is and how grateful I am for that. And it's crazy. Like I think about it, I go, I mean, without having known you, and it's not the top experience, right? Like doing a podcast or any of the other stuff. But I never would have ever had this experience. I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? Like, I mean, you know me, like, I don't ever tell people like, "Oh, I have a podcast," but like Daniel will tell people sometimes like, "Oh yeah, she has a podcast with her friend Brooke." And they'll be like, "Oh, no shit." And it's like, I would have never had so many experiences. And the podcast obviously is like very important and we love our listeners and all of that. But on top of that, there are so many other experiences, like as we're like talking and laughing about all this stuff. It's like, I am so grateful to have a friend like you and grateful to have, met Devin and have Devin and all of this stuff.
We're so grateful for Devin.
We're so grateful for Devin. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that there are people out there that feel like they haven't, had those kinds of friendships. And it just makes me even more grateful to have a friendship with somebody who, you know what I mean? Who I can fucking have these experiences with and laugh with. And
we can do whatever. Like,
we can do whatever. It doesn't matter if we're doing this or we're just hanging out, like sitting on the couch watching a movie. And that's the thing is like, I think that I just want our listeners to understand, like, this is our relationship on here, but it's also how we are when we're by ourselves.
But it's
a beautiful thing.
Very real representation of, you know, you and Brooke's relationship, but then also fortunately I got brought into the mix and I am so grateful for that.
Dude,
well, Devin, we couldn't do that. We couldn't live without you.
No, are you kidding me?
You're right.
You're right.
You're right.
Remember that time you knocked your? Remember that time we knocked your tooth out?
Fuck! Don't bring that up again. I feel so bad.
I know, but it's fixed now.
No, I know. Yeah, thousands of dollars later. Oh my god! But no, it just. Anyway, like going through this journey has and seeing people's comments and stuff has made me even more grateful to have the relationships with you girls that, you know, it's obviously like really special and and on top of it, it's really cool to like see other people like, oh my God, this is exactly how I am with like, you know, my best friends and you know, and if anything, it just makes you realize like, oh my God, like we're just all the same fucking people. You know, like there's
just out here trying to laugh and have connection with friends and like, just trying to, you know, well, currently and many times we're just trying to survive and then hopefully thrive, you know? And when we're all just trying to survive together, it is as if we're thriving. I think that's like what has been really wonderful about the podcast too. And maybe for listeners, like everyone has shit, man.
So
much shit.
Everyone does. I do. I mean, I got all kinds of shit and everyone has life and families and kids and bills and jobs and all the so much shit, like way more than anyone probably should have. And everyone deals with it now. There is not a person that does not have like just one thing after another. And me and Jeanna, we figured this out a long time ago. Like the best for us, like the best medicine and the best way to get through something hard definitely is camaraderie. It's having a friend there. But for us, it's not having a friend that's like can help you solve your problems. It's like someone you can just go through it with and you can laugh about it. And and the stuff that really sucks. It's that connection with friends when I say friends, it's kind of like friends is kind of like a loose term. Like we have friends, right? Like I have people who are my friends, but you don't really like connect with them. Like we're life partners. We've said it for a long time. And the level of understanding is, you know, amazing, but being able to find humor through all of the surviving, that is, to me, it's like all of a sudden just being able to do that immediately changes to thriving. Like you may not have it all together. We're never going to have it all together.
No,
like, there's always going to be something different. Like we've talked about like on the last podcast was all these weird old things that are happening. Like you're never going to have it all together. And with social media and all the shit, it makes it look like people have it together. They don't. And I always like, that's always like, to me, like the worst part about social, like one of the worst things, there's lots of them. Like the worst part is like, even if you are someone who you want to be authentic, you're not trying to like just get likes or whatever, you almost can't, you can start doing it the wrong way where you start performing for your followers. You perform.
So well
give
said.
the people what they want.
Yes.
And it's so hard. You don't even realize it when it's happening. You don't even realize that. And I really feel like I can honestly say like I've never really been that person. But for me, it's like you get so consumed when you have so many things you have to do. And you got so many people you got to answer to, and I got to make sure I'm doing this for you. I got to make sure I'm doing this for you. And it becomes like all of a sudden you are wrapped in that life, because it's all about like putting out this, make sure this. And then you have social media, and it's like now, and Instagram and all these things, it's tied to businesses. It's not just people and personalities are like people anymore. It's like, oh, a business has to have a social media, and you got to do that. And it is exhausting. It is not fun.
Well, I think it's exhausting for you because you are an authentic person. You know, I think that there are people out there that is what they aspire to, right? Like they aspire to like have, you know, over 1 million followers, and they want to do this and want to do that. And it's like,
and they have the personality, they have the energy and personality for
well,
it.
maybe, but this is actually a compliment to you, because I think that, you know, a lot of people don't realize, like, you know, you became I'm going to do quote marks, influencer in the time that was like an up and coming thing, right?
Yeah, remember we were like, I hated that word. I was like, I'm not an influencer.
Well, I remember you got like an invitation to these awards, and it was like an influencer award.
The Shorty Award.
The Shorty Awards.
I got nominated.
And I was like, what is that?
I know, I didn't know either. I was like,
and this is just going to show like how so much has changed in the last 5 years, right? And you and I were like, what is that? And then you were like, I don't know. It says like influencer. And that has become such a normal word, right? Like up to this day, like to where everybody's like, oh, now like kids are growing up and going like, I want to be an influencer. And it was like, this was like this was a second hand thing that happened to you naturally.
And I was up against Serena Williams.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't gonna win.
But the point is that it was never something that you set out to do. And I think that the beauty of the podcast has been for people, you know, your followers, or, you know, those that you're influencing. It's been a really nice way for them to see who you are really, rather than all the shit, you know, because it's easy to like,
I agree,
post something of you working out, or you know, in booty shorts, or you know, your body or whatever. And I think that's, I think it's, I don't want to say sad for people who are just aspiring, like, I have to wear those things and do that.
It is sad. It is sad
to get attention, because that's not what you set out to do. And I love that the podcast, at least for those people that really love you and wanted to follow you, got to see who you actually are.
Yeah.
Because that's not what you're going to see necessarily on Instagram.
Yeah.
right?
Well, you definitely won't see it on mine, because one, I absolutely detest writing long ass.
Right. I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do they even call? What do you even call it? A description?
Yeah.
In the body of the message. It's the body.
I like, detest what is that called?
Caption.
Caption.
Yeah, the caption.
I detest it. Like, and reasoning why I detest it, for the like probably the most major part, it's not because I think that people that write big long captions are dumb or sad, scared kids.
Scared kids.
Sometimes I read these captions, they're just like paragraphs long, and I'm like, I'm not going to read that. And I don't. I'm like, and by the time I read it, I'm like, now I'm spent so much time here, I got to scroll on.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more so like Instagram started out as like MySpace, right? Like you connected with your friends, you posted pictures, you commented. And for me, whenever I would try so hard to like really fill out like the description or write anything, whatever I wanted to talk about, it just felt like it was trying too hard. And I didn't want to do that. Like if I had something to say, I would say it. But for the most part, it was, I'm not going to people's Instagrams to read their captions. So I did not spend the time putting a bunch of messages in my captions. It's not that I didn't have messages to give. It also could be that like just the time it would take to try and cultivate the perfect caption was way too time consuming. And I was like, no.
But don't you also feel like when you're put into this category, right? You're in this category of like, no shit, I had no idea. Now I'm influencing people. You know, like you know what I mean? Like, now I have to fucking say all this shit that's like so influential.
Yeah.
You know? And I didn't ask for this.
Yep.
And I think that too is a huge thing. And now you have people who are aspiring to be influencers, and now they're trying to be really inspiring. Oh. And my thing is like, who the fuck are you inspiring? Like,
yeah,
I think that you inspire people by what you do in your life, which is exactly how it happened for you.
And that's
on this platform.
But that's also what it was, right? That's why when being an influencer, when that word became such a hot topic and it became a label.
Yeah.
People that have influence, they're never trying to influence.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what bothered me the most about it is it's like you have people that have these millions of followers, and like early on with millions, I mean, having 1 million followers now is like it's a drop in the bucket, you know, in comparison to the whole thing. And like, but these people, you're like, okay, this person has millions of followers. They're getting like all their deals, and they're, you know, now TikTok did the same shit. Like, oh, you dance on TikTok and now you're making millions and you're like 20 years old.
Right.
Like, okay, hats off to you. That's really, you did it. Like you snuck through, you did the thing, whatever. What bothers me about it is I feel like the zero attention that's being put on what is actually happening. You know, like what are you showing? What are we are basically, we're giving people the world if they do what we want, which happens to be show me your body as a female. Right. And it's like, but at the same time, those same females are like, don't talk about if you say anything sexual about my body. And you're like, listen, then show us there's more to you than what you show us in pictures, because there's no personality.
Right.
You are a dime a dozen.
Right.
I mean, I am surrounded by beautiful women all the time. My nieces, I mean, we talked about it. It's like pretty is fleeting. You reminded me, you taught me that very early on. Like, we're only getting older. We're only getting uglier. Like, there has to be something more to you. Like, what can I bring to the table that makes me more valuable than how I look? And the podcast has definitely been something that has given us this platform to have real conversation and give those, you know, more take the time to really describe something or answer a question versus like what you can do on a comment. Like, you know, that's why like texting sucks. That's why I send voice notes all the time, especially if I have something I really need to say to you. One, either I don't want to take the time to text it out. And if I try to cut it short, you're good. I'll probably sound short, cold, mean,
aggressive,
cold, mean, aggressive. You know, and like when that's not intentional at all, like that's not it at all. Right. But yeah, I think that it's really,
no, you're,
I think it's
right.
I think it's pretty terrible. I'm just going to go out and say, I think it's pretty terrible that we've gotten to a place where there's been so much success or possibility of success or putting people up on pedestals for what they can give you and then celebrating them for it. And then the second they don't fit that mold anymore, bye.
Right.
Wow. Right.
You know, you're like, obsolete.
Like all people in your life, like you won't want people to treat you like that.
No.
But how are you treating people on social media? How are you treating people online? Like all people do is we're just measuring each other, measuring up against this person. Oh, this is it now. Oh no, they're cool now. It's like we just want to be in. We just want to be in the it crowd. And it's like, I'm done with it. Like if we figured this out a long time ago.
It's immature, right? I mean, it's like what you do in middle school. You know, like that's like what happened to becoming an adult and realizing that we gauge people on their merit, not on their followers. Mm-hmm. You know, we gauge people on, you know, their values, not on their
people.
how you're treating people. I mean, it's crazy to me. And I always wonder, and, we've talked about this so many times, like you put somebody on this pedestal and then it's so easy to, if they're not exactly what we want them to be, to just nail them and drag them down and cancel and do all these things to them. I worry about our youth growing up in this age of really caring about followers and this and that, which we've said a million times, they're not your friends. Somebody, you have this many friends or this many followers. I worry about when that stops for somebody, because it's gonna stop. I mean, can you imagine these people, like you said, like on TikTok, that have like millions and millions of followers, and they're doing all these videos and their dances and whatever. And they're under this impression, and they've built like an entire life around this. That's how they get their money, or, their sponsors and all this stuff. And it's like, what happens when that stops?
And it does.
And it does.
And even if it's just a lull in time.
Right.
And I can tell you,
it's gonna stop. I mean, like, can you see me like doing fucking, you know what I mean?
Dabby,
doing all this stuff. It's like, and it
stops for me. I mean, there's periods of time like where I still have to do social, right? Like for work and whatever. Now I don't really do social for work. Like I do it, and I have businesses that it's important for, but I don't really do it for work anymore. Why? Because I don't have a bunch of sponsors. And you could look at that as like, man, you're kind of lame, or
no,
no. Free. Are you free? Yeah.
No,
do I make do I make way less money? Yes.
Yeah. But
you know what? But the reality is like, if you are someone who's younger and maybe you're listening, you're like, well, you're really in the social media game. We all are. But I'm telling you to work on your perspective of what that is and how and where it fits into your life. The sooner you figure that out, the better, because it is undoubtedly, there will be a moment in time where you will never feel so alone.
Yeah. It's a fleeting thing. Right. I mean, I think that,
and there's so much good that can come from it too. I mean, there is so much good that comes from social, when I think about like certain businesses that are out there fighting the good fight, whether it's raising money for something or doing these things, like, yes, but also young kids. And I don't think we have a lot of young listeners, hopefully not, but parents, if you have kids that are like really into their social, maybe they're incredible at their sport and they do it on the thing. And probably if they're kids, you're helping them. It is a wonderful thing. And you have the argument, and we've talked about it, but I don't fully agree with this argument, but I understand it. The argument of, we live in a digital time. Your kids should know how to use digital things. You don't want to keep them from having a phone. You don't want to keep them from having an iPad. Yes, you do, dude. Yes, you do. The data that's come out of how awful iPad screen time is for brain development. I mean, if you want to just talk about like that type of stuff for their health, like let's say not just mental health, just health, not good. It's not good at all. And that should scare you. And what's hard is like, I even noticed it with like my nieces and nephews. It's almost like we're at a point, if you have younger kids, you can probably figure this shit out or put a stop to it. But at a certain point, it's almost like you could feel like we've gone too far.
Yeah.
Like it's too late.
Absolutely.
And now you have to be very strategic about how can I redirect their attention? How can I make them be interested in something that's better for them? And that's kind of the life I'm kind of living right now. I'm not a mom. I'm not married. I live at home, and the same as Jeanna, it's like, I worry and I care about the youth so much, especially mine, that I am like, I'm just going to spend time with the kids. Like I had my niece the other day and we were in the car, we were going somewhere, and she's Jersey and she's just developing. I mean, has the cutest figure. And I'm also like, you bitch. I didn't have boobs. I didn't have boobs in college. Like,
how can you be so fucking cute?
But I said to her, like, you know, there's just like little signs. You have teenage girls, and I was the same way, but different. Like, I didn't grow up in this the way things are now. Like, it's way harder. You know, I had like Teen Vogue. Like, you had a magazine that you didn't get all. Like, it's not what you had all the time. But, like, that was your visuals, and then kids are mean at school. So then you deal with that. Can you imagine when it's like now at school? How mean kids can be at school now? Like,
they're awful.
Dude. So I was telling my niece, I told her, I was like, Jers, I just need you to like hear me out. Okay. I kind of had this conversation about like things, shoes, like whatever's cool. I'm like, if you ever go to school or you're like at dance or whatever, and like maybe something's really cool, whether it's like shoes or a bag, or maybe it's like a new phone or certain headphones or whatever it is. I'm like, and everyone's got it and they think it's pretty cool. And maybe they like talk shit to you or like joke around or like make fun of you because you don't have it. I'm like, I need you to hear me out. All that is so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is so stupid. And all those people, all those friends, they will realize it in some years.
Right.
And do not care. I'm like, I know. And I'm always telling her, I'm like, you can always call me. You can always talk to me. We can figure anything out. I'm like, but you got to promise me you are not going to be some dumb bimbo. You're going to be intellectual. You're going to be nice. You know, all these things that like, I feel, and I know this isn't everybody, you know, if you're listening, you're like, well, I'm not like that. This is not everybody, but I feel like across the board, if we like talk, and we're just talking about like America, a lot of people here, right? So it's almost celebrated to be pretty and dumb. And it's really annoying. And
it is.
And the thing is though, is like, that doesn't serve you. Like, if you're someone who has like ambitions, or maybe your ambitions, you're young, is like just to be an influencer. Hopefully your parents can help redirect you to like, let's do that. But what do we want to do it in? Right. Like, why, what are we going to have influence because of what? Like, what do you love? Like, what activity? What is this? Like, what do you stand? Like to write, like to draw, whatever it is. Like, let's add something to it now. Yes. Like, let's be an influencer and like do these things. But everything with TikTok, with Instagram, it really is about your looks and how many followers you have. And the way you get there is by being sexier and dancing better and like putting out more content. And it just stresses me out because it is so sad. And I have had, all of us, so many sad days in our life, right? Like it feels awful. Debilitating, rough days. And of course, you don't want those things for your kids, just like my mom doesn't want them for me. Like when I'm going through some shit, I get burnt. Like my mom, I'm not a mom, but I do understand this, especially after I posted that thing I think I sent to you. I was talking about how your mother, there is a piece of her living in all of her children. That is passed on to all your children. This is such a beautiful thing, Like my mom has always talked about it. It's like, if I hurt, she hurts.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and it didn't matter if I were home or I'm across the country.
Yeah.
Like, and it's true. Like, it's like, I don't want like my niece to go through shit that's like unnecessary. And so I'm like constantly on like kind of like playing defense.
Like, well, that's the problem, right? It's like, they're going to.
Oh, 100%.
And that's the thing is like, how do we teach our children to deal with it, because they, regardless of us telling them, all these things.
Oh yeah.
How are we going to actually get them to a point like where they're self-confident enough? And I think a lot of it is confidence, right? It's like trying not to be codependent, trying not to be,
one thing I read about that. One thing I actually read about that was talking about how to increase just
independency,
really confidence And then the feeling of like when you finish a task or you complete something like that, gratifying, like you feel good about yourself. You don't need someone to tell you. Right now, we live in a time where it's like everyone
needs to tell you.
We want instant gratification, and it doesn't matter what you think or your family thinks. It's like, well, what do they think? Even though you don't know them,
right? Which is bizarre.
But the thing I was reading about, it was talking about the importance of work, kids when they're young, because you put them to work, whether it's yard work, you give them chores, you basically give them something they're responsible for. Because they may not like to do it, but when they do it, they learn how to complete tasks. They learn how to work for something. And it feels good when you do it and you finish it. It feels good. So it teaches them like how to make themselves feel good. You know, and I think that not everywhere, obviously, again, I'll say it again, and not everyone, again, I'll say it, because probably really just anyone this doesn't pertain to is anyone in a rural area, like where you're doing work outside. You know what I mean? Like those kids are fucking happy, man. They're on the time of their life. But a lot of people, they don't live that way anymore. They're in the city or whatever. And it's a time where everyone gets offended and no one wants their feelings hurt and everyone wants a participation trophy. And there's no losing and everyone's a winner. No. That's just, it's just, why, how did we ever get to a point where people are like, this is how it should be? It's like, no, man, that's never how it was. Life is hard. Like that old skit from Chris, from Dalia, where he's like, you're going to fail a lot, kid.
Yeah.
Like,
yes. Yeah.
You know, like, but that is the truth. It's like, you have to learn how to lose.
Right.
Yes.
Because, and then you win. And then it's like, man, when you do lose and when you put in the work, to then all of a sudden win, whether it's like a kid in like a track meet, right? Like running, racing, or whatever, they learn how to handle, like it's helping them learn emotional intelligence and control and like what really is important and really doesn't matter. And I don't know how, like the best route to do that. I think we've had this conversation years ago on here, talking about like, there's no roadmap. Like that was my thing when all of a sudden it was like an influencer and I had all these people, not all these people, but people.
A lot of people.
Certain things.
I mean,
like all of a sudden they don't like you said, and we talked about it, where they find you, they love what you're doing. And then after they follow you for a while, we all start, you know, you're not just watching it on TV. Like if you watch a show on TV, like you can't give them your feedback, right? On social media, it's this interactive relationship where you don't really know them. And it's like, you can constantly build them up or ruin their fucking day.
Yeah.
And it's all based off of on how you feel about it. Like, oh, you're riding a horse. Oh, for me, oh, you're at a shooting range, you're shooting guns. Well, I hate guns and I love you and I followed you for years, but I'm unfollowing you because of this. You're the worst person ever. It's like, I'm a person we're all very complex and we like different things and we're all just trying to do our freaking best, right?
I have a different background.
And now all of a sudden, because I'm shooting guns and you follow me and you love me and you know my personality.
Now you've put me into this box of,
but now it's like, you
think I am.
It's like, okay, it's almost as if they've drawn me and they're like, I got to change your outfit. No, we don't like that anymore.
Right.
That's a terrible haircut. Change that. And it's everyone just behind a screen.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that is almost inevitable because of the way it is and because you get to comment and be like, you know, keyboard warrior or whatever they used to call them. And with kids that want to be influencers, there's just so much shit that you have to battle through because of it. Right.
Well, you're opening yourself up
and emotionally.
Yes.
And then, you know, now we have this whole epidemic of like mental health. And it's like, that's always been a thing, but probably not in the way that it is now. You know, a lot of mental health was really like PTSD and war vets and trauma, definitely like traumatic experiences. But I
finish your thought, but I was going to tell you, like,
I'm going to say something
in our business. We have so many people. I know I have so many people in our businesses. and it's all young people, very young people. Like, I mean, I'm talking like high school kids that are like working part-time.
That's why all the restaurants here are shutting down. They can't stay open because the quality control is garbage.
Well, no, they want to take a mental health day.
Yes.
And it's like, well, do you
You're like, that's for Sunday.
Right.
Right.
Do you need, and again, like not to bag on mental health. I think like everything in this country, I think that there are things that need to be addressed. There are people with like real mental health problems, and it's okay to talk about, and it's okay to talk, be open about, and we need to, take care of those people and be okay with those people like taking a mental health day. But now it's gotten like everything that happens,
it's like a trendy disability.
So it swings so far the other way to where it's like,
it's a trendy disability.
I'm taking a mental health day because what? Like you had a hard night.
I hit all the red lights on the way to work, and it just really overwhelmed me.
Yeah, and it really triggered me.
Here's
and it's
like, too,
what?
I have anxiety, like fucking debilitating anxiety some days, like throughout my day. I get it. Okay, like we all do.
What happened
if you're listening and you're like, man, that's kind of harsh,
right?
This is one of those hard conversations. It's the truth. We all deal with shit. We all have shit. And whenever we just sit in that, we spiral. I mean, it's like if I sit in it, and I do, like I have moments where I've got so much going on and I get so overwhelmed and I get stuck. And it is a terrible feeling. It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you guys for sure, but then people listening, you're like, oh yeah, that happens to me too.
Mm-hmm.
That happens to everybody. That doesn't mean that the whole population has to all of a sudden we quit everything because we just can't handle it anymore.
Right.
It's just the reality is
you still have your responsibilities.
And that does, and there's obviously there's nuances and there's different levels to like, what are you dealing with? But like what Jeanna, you're saying, 100%, man.
Yeah.
It's becoming trendy. It's trendy. And I have shit I have to deal with every day. I'm not saying that it's fake because I live it every day. I deal with it every day. But it is trendy.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it was trendy to, like we had the conversation talking about people that are overweight, like way overweight. And like watching like My 600-Pound Life and have a conversation with a friend where it was really the victim mindset. That's probably the biggest. I mean, that's the cornerstone of it. Like a victim mindset. When you're stuck in a victim mindset, which I feel like this day and age, that's majority of people. It's so easy to get there. And when you have camaraderie there, it's cool. It's like, I'm sad. I'm like, we're sad and my life's hard and I'm taking a mental health day and let's do it together. Like when you have that, you don't ever need to get over it. You don't ever need to get through it.
Well, and at what point are we responsible for making change in our lives?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Because it's we all have stuff. I mean, you've dealt with anxiety and panic attacks. And, my sister had dealt with that. I had never dealt with it. I had empathy for it, but I didn't really know what it meant until I actually had one. And I was like, oh shit, like this is gnarly. Like, I feel like I'm, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And I can't breathe. And so like we have these things on the spectrum of, very severe, but then everybody kind of like, it's kind of like, I liken it to, if anyone's ever dealt with like migraines, I've had actual migraines, like where you feel like you're going to throw up and you have to be in a dark room. And,
my cousin can't, I mean, it is awful.
No, they're awful. They're awful. But the point is that I used to say before I actually got migraines, oh my God, my head hurts so bad. I think it's a migraine. And so what it does is it kind of lessens it for the people who are actually dealing with real migraines.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, a migraine isn't just a really bad headache.
A migraine is needing a mental, having to lay down, vomiting.
Right.
Just
And so
the
it's
worst
kind of
feeling ever. It is bad. A migraine is bad.
But the problem in our society is that we're like, oh my God, we want to make sure that these people that are dealing with these really hard things, we need to make sure that they have protection, right?
Dude, I have to.
But then everybody jumps on the fucking bandwagon, and then everybody's got, you know, oh my God, I'm having a panic attack. I'm like, if you were having a panic attack right now, you would not be here just saying, oh my God, I'm having a panic attack. Oh my God.
Be like on the ground.
Like
I have to lay down.
Right. Like this is a very different thing. And so that's the problem, is that we're trying so hard to make life okay because we care about other people. We're trying to make life okay for those people who actually have them. But then everybody gets to be, you know, I need a mental health day, and I need, you know, I'm having a panic attack. I'm having a migraine. And it's like that you're literally just being fucking dramatic.
Yes. I'm going to play this. I posted it on my Instagram story, and so you guys probably already seen it, but I'm going to play it anyways. I cannot remember what this comedian's name is.
Oh, it's the really controversial one. Yes.
He's really funny. Yes. But this is real. This is, and let's see if you can hear it.
Dad, the teacher doesn't like me.
Let me start over. Yeah. Whoopsies.
Mom and Dad would say, who gives a fuck? In life, people are not going to like you. Figure it out. Now, you guys, when you have kids in elementary school, they come home, they go, the teacher doesn't like me. And you go, well, let's get the teacher fired because my kid's perfect. You instill in his brain or her brain that the world should bend to them. And now I'm doing comedy and I tell a joke about something and someone stands up and they go, I don't like that. Well, everyone else is laughing, but that doesn't matter because in this moment, I don't like it. So now you have to leave. You get kicked out of my show. A girl had a seizure at my show. We checked on her. She was fine. She leaves. Everything's good. So I started to make fun of what happened in the situation, and a girl in the crowd stood up. She's like, you can't make jokes about that. That's not funny. And I asked what she did for a living. She said she was an EMT. And I was like, why didn't you help? This is what we do now. We complain, but we don't help.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of those hard truths, guys. And I urge you, when we have hard truths, not to pull back. Like, that's also the thing that's very normal now. It's like we all live in our own truth, where it's like, if you offend me or you don't agree with me, it's like, you're wrong and you're rude.
I don't like what you're saying.
And I'm going to cancel you.
And
all this thing. It's like, that's not how life works.
Right.
Like, and outside of, I mean, businesses, and we'll end this soon. But for instance, like your family business, Jeanna, businesses still have to function, right? Like there's a job to be done. So dealing with a bunch of employees that are sissies, they are scared kids, and they live in that so much that it's like, in their own mind, it's like they're superior.
Really, they have so much power.
Yes, and there is so much power because how we got here, I don't really fully know, and it totally sucks. But it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we'll just talk businesses, jobs, because all those idiots are going to have jobs, you know, because if they all think they're influencers, they're going to have a sad reality when it comes time to like be an influencer. Like, oh, we influencer, they're not even, we don't have those anymore. Now you got to try and be that guy. You know, it's like you're going to try and be something that it may not, it seems nice because you see all these lavish lifestyles on Instagram. One, back to it, Instagram's not real. So even if someone lives a lavish lifestyle, their life is hard. Yeah. And they deal with shit. And they're posting all their best things. You know, we see all the highlight reels of someone's life. And if they're an influencer, it's planned. Those things are planned. Those posts are planned.
Yeah.
You know, like there was the whole thing where all these influencers were like getting all their like, I'm on a private jet photo. They were taking fucking pictures in a jet parked.
Yeah.
It wasn't real. But what do people think? Like, oh my gosh, out of my mind, you're doing the most amazing life. I just want to be you. And it's like, they're pretending to be someone else too.
Right.
That's not even their life.
Well, and when did I feel like what has happened is that everyone's just living for themselves. Like,
it's selfish.
Self-gratification.
People don't know how to be selfless anymore. Everything is like, I'm going to be nice to you, but like, I'm going to get something in return.
Right.
Whether it's this interaction or one of our favorites, Jeanna. Hey guys, we're just at this restaurant and we're going to give this waitress a
gazillion dollars
because we're the best people ever and we just want to give.
Right.
You know what?
What happened to giving without telling anybody?
It's just in my mind, and it could just be me, you know, and us. Like,
it's not. It's not just you.
It's just not genuine. And when I know people that do that, and it's like, and I like them, but I see them do that, I'm like, ah.
Yeah, it's gross.
Like, what? I mean, I give, but not everything has to be an opportunity for you to make something on the back end.
But I think
100%.
Yes, you're right, Dev, 100%. But like, I also think that when people, again, are given a platform, and I do give kudos to you for this because you've always been true to yourself and real. I think that there are some people that get this and they go, oh, I can make even more money. I can make more money if I give people what they want and they can perceive this life as being, you know, so beautiful and so pure that if you do what I do, I think you always have to be leery of people who are selling something. And that's for anybody, right? Because you're selling a lifestyle, you're selling whatever product, you're selling something. And like you said, it's friends who even that we like and you know, that you like and that you love, but it's like, if you're trying to show all this stuff, like, if you do this, this, and this, you can be just like me. You can have this giant house and you can have all these cars and you can have this beautiful family because I'm doing it. It's like, that's just not fucking reality. I mean, there's geography, there's so many things that come into play that it's like, no, it's not true.
Well, and that's why, you know, and like,
where did Devin go?
Devin.
Devin?
Hey, Devin.
Devin. Hey, Devin.
Hey, Devin.
Hey, Devin.
My laptop was dying. I had to go grab the charger. I'm back.
Oh, there you are.
What I was going to say too is like, I mean, I speak for myself. I've definitely had so many times in my life where I wanted that life or that car.
That's
really
that's
like
normal.
That hair. Really, it's like your hair and maybe your butt.
Oh, that is normal.
You know, but like that's very normal. And like I remember too, like years ago, so out of college, I don't remember really what triggered it or whatever. I feel like majority of my life I've been a pretty observant person and eventually always like am willing to have those hard conversations with myself about like, you know, hard truths basically.
Sure.
And I've definitely, like everyone, I've been the girl that like when you see something that someone has, you initially just hate them for it. Right. It's like, okay, well, screw her. Right. And I made a conscious
try to find something wrong with them.
Yes. And it's like I made a conscious decision a long time ago to buy in fully to the fact that someone who continues to just be like, well, they suck because they have this and I want this and I want this, and really just constantly measuring myself as if my life sucked and everything I had, you know, I didn't do that, but like, you get what I'm saying? Like something about that where that will keep you where you are.
Yeah.
You know, like, and if I've learned anything just through like our relationship together and us three is like what you say to yourself and how you talk to yourself and the words you use to talk about somebody, they affect you. They affect your outcome in everything. They do, you know? And I have a hard time with people that are willing to sacrifice their what's the word?
Integrity?
Yes. In order to like make it or like be cooler or like get on top. And yes, it kind of comes down to like the question where it's like, well, if I did XYZ, and that doesn't mean like, oh, if I posted pictures of myself in swimsuits or whatever. No. I mean, like, if I was more willing to constantly be on my Instagram story, if I was more willing to just be like selling myself, like, and everything all the time, like, could I make more money? Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I've learned through experience well before now is like, it's exhausting.
Well,
and you're tired, and then what happens is like you can get through it and you make it work at your job and you do love it, but at a certain point you don't love it anymore. At a certain point you find yourself, now I'm describing as if this is like fully what I've gone through, not fully what I've gone through, but this does happen to people to where now you're alone. And maybe you're not alone, but you feel super alone.
Because you don't have all that outside gratification anymore.
It's because now all of a sudden the simple things, the things that are like the things that make you happy, the little joys, right? Like finding $5 in your pocket when you put on your snow pants.
Right.
Like little joys, like those are things that everyone experiences, they're things that happen throughout our day, but all of a sudden we only focus on the big things. And so now there's nothing that can just make us happy.
Right.
No little thing can just make us happy.
Well, that's the thing. It's like all these influencers or, quote unquote, they're all going to get to an age, right, where they're no longer, because and I've joked about it, like it's just going to get worse. But the point is that you're just not going to be marketable anymore. Right. So say you're in, 40s now is like the 20s, years ago. But like, say like you're like me, like in your 50s. And if I had grown up in a situation where I really cared about all that stuff, I would be shitting my pants right now. Right. Because I don't have the body that I had in my 20s, 30s, 40s. I then have an entire lifetime. I've got, my 50s, my 60s, my 70s, my 80s. My grandmother is going to turn 100,
yeah,
right?
You've got a whole life.
It's like, I've got an entire, like
multiple lives,
5 decades to live. Maybe if I'm lucky if I'm as lucky as her. How does that feeling that you get from that high of like being popular or being, coveted or being, looked at by all these people, how does that feel for the last half of your life when you've wrapped up so much of your self-worth into that? And you and I have had this conversation. It's like, who are you after that? And that can only last so long, because guess what? Fucking aging happens and life happens. And it doesn't mean that it's a fucking death sentence.
You guys, hammer toes happen.
Hammer toes happen.
Hammer toes happen. Perioral dermatitis happens.
Toenail fungus happens. Yeah. But no, like if you're wrapping so much, and Brooke, like we've talked about this, like I always think about like the women's suffrage, like how hard women fought to have, rights and all these things. Can you imagine these young people who care so much about what, how many likes they're getting because of their body, because of this outside surface, right? And then all of a sudden you don't have it. It's like this whole community has told you you're only worth something because of this. Right. So they may have even started out feeling okay or good about the inside of themselves. But then they get to a point like where they're getting so much attention for the outside. And then as that outside starts to look different, and not like what society likes.
Well, and that's also you have to take into consideration.
Yes.
What's trendy. Like you might be thriving and all of a sudden they're like, we're going to pivot.
Right.
And you're like, wait, I'm not ready to pivot. What do I got to do? What do I got to wear?
I looked so good. Like everybody liked me. But that's the thing is it's just this like false illusion of feeling like, oh, like, you know, I mean, I was born with this, you know, really great ass and this little tiny waist and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you're 20 and then into your 30s. And then what happens to that? Or what happens after you have babies? Or, you know, I mean, there's so many outside factors that happen. So you have people that may have started out being self-secure, all of a sudden, depending on all of this outside shit. And then all of a sudden it starts going away. And then who are you?
Mm-hmm. And you're thinking like, well, like
I had so many, all these people loved me and liked me and it was all based on this. And like, I don't have that anymore.
Yeah, dude.
Who am I?
And people wonder why suicide rates are the way they are.
Right. Who am I?
And with young kids.
Yeah.
Suicide rates right now with young kids, it is ridiculous.
Astronomical.
It should not even be a conversation.
Right.
So
and it's all based.
You guys, if you have kids at home, fucking do your job, dude.
Right.
Well, and I mean that. And I mean it in a mean way. If you got kids at home and you're like, man, I do got kids that I'm a little bit worried about, fucking put everything else on the side and you do that job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can get a job.
I will say that
we can get a job forever. We can constantly work. We can always figure out the money. We can find a job. You can work at McDonald's. People don't want to do that because it's not that cool. But you know what? You can do it. You can do that. What you can't do is get back any of the time that you are losing with your children, especially if they are so off the rails, they get to a point where they're so alone and then you no longer have them around anymore. That is devastating. That is so much worse than you not being cool on Instagram, you know? Right. And I think that whole like that topic and conversation is so real. And I think that people probably run from that. I mean, no one wants to talk about it per se, but like you would run from it because in some people's minds, it could seem so far-fetched that you're like, I'm not dealing with that. Like we're good here. But every time you hear a story, every new thing that comes out, it's always never saw it coming.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, if you never saw it coming, you really must be so busy in your life. Like maybe you are like, you know, there's the whole idea of like more, do more. What else can I do? I want to be a successful businesswoman. I want to do this. You know what I'm realizing at 34? The most important job is being a mother. It is being parents. And if you don't want to be parents, and I went through a very long period of time where I didn't want to have kids, mostly because I was married to a child, but I didn't, you know, and I didn't even understand, like in the years that I grew up and was raised and how things changed and progressed. It's like, I didn't even understand the importance of it. Like I really didn't.
Yeah.
No, I know the importance because my mother, because I have her, but I never understood the importance. It's almost like the pressure that was put on women as I was growing up was to be in the work field. The pressure was like to not be at home. Don't be a mom. Like if you don't go out and do something, it really is this sort of do more, be more. And it's like, and go out and do whatever you want. And like, yes, go out and do whatever you want. But what I'm understanding is you can go out and do whatever you want all the time. And at a certain point, you're going to be tired. You're going to need something that means more.
Right.
You're going to need something that is more valuable, that is invaluable, that is like priceless, that you can have, that is there. And that comes through relationships. That's friendships. That's your relationships. And it's like, at the end of the day, we're all getting older. We all have shit. We all have problems. And I'm just at a point where it's like, I can't, it's becoming this race, like, remember, like the invisible race of social media that everyone's doing, but no one really knows like when it starts or when it ends or like who's in the front or who's in the back, but everyone feels like they're always behind.
Mm-hmm.
that's turning into not just social media, that's turning into life. Like, I mean, I feel that like where I'm like I'm just doing the best I can. But like at the same time too, I constantly feel like I'm making someone mad somewhere. I'm forgetting to do something somewhere. And when that is the way we live, and when life is going so fast all the time, no wonder you don't see the signs for your kids, because you're trying to keep up too. Because not only are you trying to keep up for yourself, now you're trying to keep up for your kids. Your kids gotta have this. Your kids gotta have this. They want this. They want to do this.
Yeah,
I
don't have a lot of criticism for parents nowadays, only because I feel like there's so much more that's happening that they have no control over.
No control. But
right?
I think the only thing that you can control is spending more time with your kids.
Well, no, I agree with you. I agree with you.
That, and
I do think that there are more outside instances or things that are happening that I did not have to deal with at the time. Right.
Oh,
so
no,
it's like
100%.
Yeah. It'd be really easy for me to be like, just do this and do this. It's like my older three, they had MySpace. And, we still were a pretty strict family. Like they had to hang their phones up in the laundry room by like 9:00 on weeknights. And
I think that sounds like a pretty good
plan. And it was, the computer was in a main area to like where they had access, but Ruby's generation,
a lot different,
was like the first generation that had the access to internet on their phone
from like a young age,
from like fifth grade. Right. She didn't have a phone in fifth grade, but a lot of her friends did. And then there was like this pressure as a parent because now kids are not connecting by calling each other or sending invitations to school.
Well,
right?
And her phones are different for when she got phones. Like when I got my first phone,
right,
it was a flip phone. Like
that's what I'm saying. It wasn't connected.
Yeah, no. And now it's like,
so it's like, it's interesting because like my sister, her 12-year-old Echo, he, and what's really good now is that they have a lot of parental controls for phones. So like you can figure out like how much time they have on
all my nieces and nephews have had Gab watches. And then at a certain age, then they get graduated to a phone.
Right.
But like the Gab watch is pretty cool because you can control who they can contact and who can contact them.
Right. You can like block. You can block their social media, all of that. But it's interesting because she was saying, she was like, we've always been like such a stickler about like FaceTime or social media and all these things, but now he's being left out of things because that's how they all get together. So then you have a child that's being like ostracized. So I do feel for people who have kids in this digital age, right?
But even in that, like
but you still have to be a vigilant parent.
That's all I think, like, because there's so much. Like there's so much that's happening that you're like, and some parents, depending on where you live, you're dealing with more of it at a time or whatever, different ages. But I do feel like the best place to start is, if nothing else, make it a like spend time with them.
Yeah.
Because
get off your phone.
There's like the whole like conversation, and not even conversation, the reality of like how our school system was created and why it was created and what it really is meant for. And it's 12 years. And really, parents don't raise their kids anymore. Your teachers do, your kids do at school. I mean, there's so many hours in the day that you don't get to influence them with what you want to do. It is out of your hands, and that's the reality. That is the truth. And then life in school is very different from when I was in elementary school, middle school, high school. Same for you, same for Devin. It's different. And I feel like one of the best things anyone can do, because you're not going to be able to you can't stop the world from being what it is. Like all you can do is try and play defense. But I think the best thing you can do is, if you're a good parent, good person, not parent, but like a good person, and we all make mistakes and we all learn from our mistakes, and that's normal and that's fine. But if you, in a nutshell, are trying to do good and and be good and like be a good influence for your children. You know, I'm an aunt, so like my nieces and nephews, I'm not going to get it right all the time, but I'm just starting with like, I'm going to spend more time with you. You know, it's really just, let's just do more together. And if you're in a family where you got a bunch of kids that are on their like screen time all the time, and maybe they're like uninterested now, they don't want to go have they don't want to have an imagination. They don't have to like try so hard to create something exciting. They just want it to be there. They just want to have it. They just want to go to their friend's house. They just want to do whatever. It's like, oh man, again, like I would not know how to combat that. I mean, I'm trying to figure it out with my nieces and nephews, trying to like redirect their attention, like create what's something that I can say, let's go do this instead. Right. And like make it exciting and we'll do it together. And I do that. And my sisters and all my nieces and nephews play a bunch of sports. And like, I am an advocate for that. Like if you have kids that are in some sort of extracurricular activity, it gets them socialized and it keeps them active and it teaches them like, you know, like reward for like putting in work and practicing and exercising and all these things. But not everyone has that opportunity, whether it's because you can't financially you can't do that and it is expensive, and how many kids do you have? Like there's so many nuances that go into it, but like you can spend time with them. Like it just make that a thing. And it's like, maybe you don't have a lot of time, but maybe you take them to the park if they're little. It's like, well, we're gonna go to the park. I'm gonna walk you around, I'm gonna push you on the swing, and we're gonna have a conversation. Yeah. Like, I think that is the best thing that we can do, at least a really great place to start, like build that, like strengthen your relationship within your family, with your kids and your partners and your siblings or whatever it is. If you can strengthen that, that becomes almost like this is my safe place for kids and teenagers and adults. I'm 34.
I think the only pitfall of that, or not pitfall, but like, I think the only hard thing with that would be like, you know, like my sister works full time, runs like 11 stores, right?
Oh, no.
Her husband works. So it's funny because it's like, she's constantly, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people out there that don't have like maybe this like a lot of time. Right.
Yeah, but Michaela spends a lot of time, but they do things, you know, like they go and do things.
And they do. And
that's how I would say you would balance it out.
That's like, what I'm saying. She's a very vigilant parent. But it was like Echo had a couple days off and he came to the store and she was like, okay, well, you know, you only have like this much screen time, which was like an hour or something. Now you have to go ride your bike, do something physical. But then you have some kids that aren't like group, like you said. I think sports is the best thing to get your kids in. But what if you have a kid that doesn't want to be in sports? You know?
Well, that's true.
So like, Echo wanted to play girls volleyball.
Echo wanted to play girls volleyball? You're like, you could just play volleyball.
Yeah. No, but most of his friends are girls. So he was like, no, I want to play girls volleyball. And she was like, I don't think it's going to work, you know? So it's like,
you're like, we could just get friends together and go to the park and we could play volleyball.
I know. So she's constantly having to deal with this. And I'm looking at her and then I'm looking at like my grandchild, like I'm looking at Finn and I'm going, oh my God, like I can't even imagine what she's going to have to, like what her parents are going to have to deal with. Because like, even when I have her like once a week, you know, Joey's like, well, I read that, you know, parents shouldn't be on their phone. So I try not to be on my phone at all when I'm with her. And, but
that is a thing. I've read that too. Like you don't, around an infant, do not
be on your phone.
Be on screens.
Right. And so I'm not on my phone, but like every once in a while I'll get a text and I'll just like pick it up and she just goes, "Ooh."
Oh yeah.
It's like the most bizarre thing. Like she is just like completely obsessed with knowing what I'm doing on my phone. And she's 8 months. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I do this and I just like put it behind me.
You're like this. What was that, Finn?
Bathroom.
How'd that get in here?
We're going to throw that away. But yeah, but you're right. You're right. Parents need to be more vigilant and less, I hate to, like, for lack of a better word, like lazy.
Well, and it's not even in a mean way. Like you even saying lazy, like that could sound like some people might hear that.
I just said, for lack of a better word.
But honestly though,
but
like if you are a listener that you're like, that maybe offended you, maybe take a hard look at yourself.
Maybe. Yeah.
And exactly. and again, like I think what most people, what everyone needs to do way more of is just, let's just choose not to be offended. Yeah. Like it's normal. Like I've had these conversations with kids, like trying to explain to my nephew, like none of us knew how to ride a bike, Jax.
Right.
It was hard for it was hard for me. It's hard. It's not easy, but no one knows how to ride a bike. You learn how to ride a bike, and then once you learn it, you got that skill forever. Right. And it's like, but you've got kids, and that's a normal thing. But like, to tie it into like this day and age, when something, it can be so easy to be entertained, and it's just so much better to like just be on YouTube or like, play a game. Well, when we, at a young age, the more we allow them to do that, and maybe for some people it's because you're way busy and you're a single parent, and it's like, I can get my baby to just calm down so I can finish what I'm doing and not cry and not throw a freaking fit, because if they throw one more fit, I'm going to throw them through the window. Right. So you let them watch the thing. And I get that because I'm not a parent, but I'm around a lot of kids of all ages all the time in this family. And they love watching movies, and they want to watch YouTube. They want to watch the singing thing. And Drew wants to watch Track Ted, And I see as like an observer of like how difficult it is on like to be in that situation as a parent, because it is, now we come back to like anxiety and stress and how we all have so much shit all the time. And there's always going to be more. There's always going to be more things that you got to figure out a way to get through it or to solve the problem. And that's just life, and it kind of sucks, but it also is great. It gives you plenty of opportunities to be better, to do better, to excel, to learn from your mistakes, to be successful. Like it's trial and error constantly for everything. But if you care, which we all do, if you really care about the stuff that is really important, brain development, their thinking processes, their emotional intelligence, how are we setting them up to like be a citizen in society, and how they will treat people and respond to people. What I never really thought about, because I've never had kids and I've just been growing up my life too, right? I've just been growing up and now understanding like the importance. I was listening to Jordan Peterson. He was talking about like a certain age kids are supposed to be able to, like, it was like by age 6. I think it was age 6. A lot of attention for a parent is to start helping them become someone who can handle hard things, right? Who can like fail at a game and be, and like, it sucks, but like be okay with it and like go back and play again, versus like fail at a game. Like I remember my niece, she's a senior in high school this year. So when she was little, and she always had this mindset, is like when she couldn't do something, skiing, right? Like riding a bike, but like going to the lake or snowboarding or anything physical that maybe is, you wouldn't just have the skill. You have to learn it. Just like children learn to walk, right? We learn everything we do. You didn't have anything. You came into the world with nothing. Right. And then you learn how to do things. And it's like, I think we forget, especially as we get older, that like we forget that that's the reality. And so we're living in a time where people, it's like if they don't get it right, or they don't shine, or they're not the best the first time they do it, they're like, never doing it again.
Right.
I'm not good at it. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
And well, that's not how anyone who is successful, what they do, that's not how they got there, right? It's like, that's not how Serena Williams became the tennis player that she is.
Right.
And I think that the only thing you can do, or at least start out as a parent, is like, just if you don't have a ton of time to give extra time away to try and spend time, then just start smaller.
Right.
Maybe it's picking a day a week. Maybe it's picking 2 days a week. Maybe it's like, and maybe it's 1 day a week where it's like, it's family day and you go and do an activity with your kids.
Right.
Not everyone, especially nowadays, you can't put all your time in, because now most people, everyone works, both parents work, or they're single parents, or they're, a broken home where like I don't know, there's so many things that people deal with and live in and experience in life, to where instead of making excuses for why you can't do it, because I understand we all have excuses and they're not fake, they're real, right? Like they're real excuses. Like I see my sisters with their kids running them. I'm just like, I run around and I come home and I'm taking the kids here. I'm going to the park. We're going on a walk. I'm going here. I've got to go to the horses. I'm doing these things and I get exhausted. And I think to myself, like about my siblings that have kids and they're running and they're taking them and they're going to school and they're playing sports and they're showing up and helping my aunt and they're showing up and helping my other sister. And we're all showing up and helping each other. And I think, wow, like I'm exhausted in my life and I'm really trying to put an effort into like being of service. I like to serve in a way to only, it helps me in my self-esteem, but like to, not be selfish, like be selfless and like, and try and help and play the role. And I look at my siblings sometimes and I'm like, man,
that's exhausting.
Well, it's like, it's just hard. Like it's hard.
But I think the best, sorry.
I was just going to say that life is hard.
Yeah.
And it's hard for everybody. And even if you think that someone has it easy, they don't. They just have different problems. We all have problems.
We do.
And, it's just like, don't make excuses. Get rid of the victim mindset. Don't make excuses. And like, sometimes we do, and that's fine. It's not like you're going to be perfect every day. But the better you can be and the better I can be about just, instead of allowing my excuses and to like sit in that, I may have a really hard time and my day may be fucked up and it may be really impossible for me to do XYZ, but I can sit and I can talk about how like my life's hard. I couldn't do it because of this and this and this. And that's the reality. But what it does to your brain, how you think when we allow ourselves to always speak from a victim mindset or from a woe is me or my life is hard situation, that won't change you, or that will change you basically.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that those things aren't real, but the way that we talk about it, the way that we adapt or we try and fix the situation, if we allow ourselves to always be someone who almost needs to be served, because like, I can't do it. Like I'm doing everything and I do this and this and this, and I can't do that because of this. It's like, well, at the end of the day, if it comes to your kids, they still have to have food in their mouth. They still have to have clean clothes, right? Like we still have to do things, and it doesn't matter how hard it is, and it sucks. Well, and it's exhausting, but like it is hard. And I'm not saying like your excuses, because the excuses are real. I'm not saying like, oh, your excuses, like,
no, for sure,
they're real.
No, but I
we got to find a way to work through them or work around them.
We're gonna work around those excuses, guys. Everybody.
We're not gonna solve them, but we're gonna find a workaround.
we're gonna work around them. No, I'm gonna tell you, like the best advice I ever got was someone told me that the best way, not the best way, but like the most important thing that you could do is remember that your children are only children for a very small amount of time. They're adults for a very long time compared to their childhood, right? And our jobs as parents is to make sure that they can live without us. They can live and they can thrive without us. So when you have them for this very short time, we can't baby them. I mean, we can love them and we can, be nurturing and all those things. But the point is that we can't shelter them from ever living an actual life, because our job is to prepare them, because when they leave, some of them at 18, some of them at 20 something, it depends on what the age is. The point is that when we put them out to the world, we want them to have, obviously, like you said, emotional intelligence. We want them to have both of them. Integrity. Yeah. Sorry, my wine's gotten to me. But we want them to have, integrity and be good people.
You want to be confident as a parent that you're like, I can do that, and they're gonna be okay.
And now we're putting them out there, and they know how to like survive, and we're still here. But that's the problem, is I think that we've pushed to like this time where we think that, oh, I just have to baby my child, baby them. And a lot of that is like learning about dealing with people that don't like them, dealing with, they have to do things they don't like.
Well, any kind of adversity,
right?
Right.
Well, how are you going to throw them into a job and then be like, oh, my boss was mean to me? It's like, huh?
You're like, well, what did you do? Well, like, I just had a hard day, and you lashed out at me, and I've been having like mental health stuff. And
and now you've created a child who can't actually thrive or be okay in their adulthood. And now, I mean, where else are they going to go? Your house.
Yep.
Right.
For the rest of their lives. Yeah, that feels good when they first leave, because you're like, I don't want my baby to leave. And then all of a sudden, like 3 years later, like, well, I want my baby to leave.
Yeah. I heard a thing
way over.
I know this is the longest one we've ever done. They're like, it's the final one.
I know.
Just like what you said, I heard something very, very similar. It's the exact same thing, but they said, if you look at your time with your children, and I think that this would really apply well to like nowadays, especially if you're like a younger parent, because it's so cool to be cool. You know what I mean? To where even as a parent, like I see people that have kids and they're so cute, and there's someone very specific I'm thinking about, and I didn't even know this about this person until I heard about it. It's like on social media, the most adorable mother-daughter, like do everything so cute, all their like fashionista posts, but in real life doesn't really spend much time parenting. Because it's almost like now it's like this just is an opportunity. Like you obviously love your baby,
right?
But it's just, this is what I mean.
But look how cute my daughter is, and what the fuck is that doing to her as a small child?
You know what else? Do not post pictures of your kids on your social media.
No.
And never thought that there would be a day that would be a thing, but now is the day where I'm like, I'm actually going to save this next comment for when we're hanging up, because it will take us on a whole new tangent. But yes, it's like, I feel like for a very long time, the idea of being, because we're women, the idea of like being a mom, it was like, that was like the lazy job. Like that was like it wasn't cool. It was so much cooler to like be out in the workforce and like being like the head of a business, or like going out and doing all these things. And now we're coming face to face with the reality of like, our kids are in trouble. Where does that come from? It didn't just happen.
Right.
Like the emphasis on the importance of like the family, or like being a dad, or like being a good dad, or like being a good mom. It's not a lost art. I don't know, but like, it's not, it's not celebrated in mainstream, and everyone right now, we're so tied to like what's trendy, and so we're in this rat race of like the whole conversation of like fast fashion. Not only is it so terrible for the environment, which I never really knew, but we're consumers, right? We just got a bunch of people who are just consumers, and we just want more. We want to be cool. We want to look cool. We want to fit in. But what's so bad about trying to fit in all the time is like, everything changes so rapidly. You can't. Like, who has the time to have a job to pay your bills, and if you have kids, like support your family, but also stay up to date on what's cool? Like, I'm not married. I don't have kids, and I have a hard time. Like, I can't keep up with what's cool. Like clothes, or like the new way to do your reels, or like how to have the new algorithm, like figure it all out. And I think the best thing to do is more so everyone just to realize, like, honestly, just, it doesn't really matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter your hairstyle. It doesn't matter what shoes you have on. If you're a shit person, it doesn't matter what you're wearing.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much more valuable to just be someone that has some substance in your mind so you can hold a conversation, someone who is caring and not from a selfish point of view or selfish place, whether they realize it or not. The people that are like, let me show you how good I am. Let me prove to the world and all my followers that I'm a giver. Just give.
Yeah.
Because if you just give, that exudes, right? Like your people know that about you.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell them. You don't have
Right.
to show them. It's just who you are.
You should never have to tell somebody how good a person you are because they should already know it.
It's like
Right.
who likes a car salesman, right? Like if you have to sell yourself to me, I already know I got to go to a different place.
Yeah.
It's like when I was dealing with my shoulders after my spine surgery and I had my MRI, and I've got people telling me, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. And the guy I went to just got my MRI read, and then he was someone I was discussing about like stem cell stuff. As he's telling me, because he did stem cell in California, but as he's talking to me about it, he's already selling me on him as a surgeon too. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
If you are so
Red
confident
flag.
about yourself in stem cell therapy, but you already are trying to sell me on your ability to do my surgery as well, wrong place. Like if you have to sell me on what you do when I'm already coming to you because I need help, like you're a doctor,
Right.
you're selling me on yourself? No.
Yeah.
Because I want the person that's like, you don't have to sell me shit. The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
What have you done for other people?
Right.
Right? It's like, and selling yourself. You know what though? Okay, go pee.
I have to too.
Well, I think we're gonna,
What?
we're gonna. I'm an hour ahead of you, so it's coming on 10 p.m. and I haven't showered yet, so I do have to go.
All right. Anyway, okay.
All right. The girls are back from going pee, and I was just telling Jeanna that we've been on here an hour and a half longer than we ever do. I think we've done some like good hour and a half podcasts before.
We have. This is like more like 2 hours.
I'm the one that's ending this podcast because it's 9:40 and I haven't showered. And you guys, I mean, you see me if you're watching this video.
All right. Well,
and I have to eat.
To conclude this podcast, we are so appreciative of all of you. And I just want to profess my undying love to my friend Brooke. And also profess my undying love to Devin. And without you, this would have never been made possible.
Without you,
that's not. I mean, obviously, I am like the fucking.
You are, dude.
Secondary.
People message me all the time. They're like, "When's Jeanna? Is Jeanna? When are you?"
That's so sweet.
And I'm like, "Well, she's a grandma now, and
I am a grandma now." But
I'm like, yes, no, we're best friends, and yes, we will be in the same place at the same time at some point. We're just now, she's a grandma, so she doesn't now. She's got a baby, and she's just loving on her and,
with that baby.
And being in her life and doing all that, and it's amazing. And life is busy. Like Christmas is coming. What?
I know.
Christmas.
I
and
know.
when you guys listen to this, Christmas will be over. But we're recording it right before Christmas, and
so Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Well, I will say that I will profess my undying love to the both of these women, and doing this podcast has been way crazy and super exciting, and we've laughed a ton, and it's been so fun. And obviously we would not be doing this if it weren't for everyone listening to this.
That's true.
Absolutely.
We've literally taken it one day at a time since the day we started, because we didn't know, like, people, it may be something that we can offer. People may enjoy listening to us talk and laugh and tell whole really embarrassing stories and ridiculous stories. Or you may be like, it's not for us. And here we are 5 years later. So thank you.
Yes.
Because we would not have done this, wouldn't have had the opportunity to, if it weren't for everyone that has been, I guess, on our support team this whole way.
Yeah. We love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do
love you guys.
We do.
Deb, you want something to say?
We may be back you never know.
That's not true.
It out there.
That's
We may
not
be
true.
back.
Dude, every
Not
once in a
coming
while,
back.
every once in a while, we just get on Zoom and then we just take the video. We just take the video and we just put it on my YouTube channel.
Yeah,
It's like a podcast that now it's just only in the video.
Okay,
video
has
and audio
no,
form.
no pressure. No pressure.
Yeah, no, we're just like, hey,
don't be too sad. Like, you never know.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to
rate, review, subscribe, send us an email, 5-star rating, 5-star warning, and we love you so much. And
thank you.
Have a wonderful, wonderful New Year.
And happy 2024.
Happy 2024.
In 2024, we're gonna get outside.
Yeah.
We're gonna enjoy simple things with our friends and family, and we're gonna survive. And if we do it together and we laugh and we do fun things, then we will thrive, even if everything's crumbling around us.
And hopefully get rid of my fungi toe.
Yeah, and hopefully my big toenail will actually grow back and stay attached versus like growing back and being like, psych, bye. And I'm like, oh, cool.
All right, bye, guys.
I love you so much.
Bye.
Love you guys. Thank you.
I love you guys.
Bye.
Anybody else out there feel like they're losing their mind from time to time? Between home and work and kids and family and friends, I can't remember what I'm supposed to do from one day to the next. Since I've started Qualia Mind, brought to you by our sponsor Neurohacker, my mental acuity and clarity has improved so much. Neurohacker combines 28 of the most research-backed nootropic ingredients on Earth into the ultimate brain fuel formula, Qualia Mind, and it's been helping people's lives for years now. The formula is non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, and the ingredients are meant to complement one another, factoring in each ingredient's effect on supporting mental clarity. It's also backed by a 100-day money-back guarantee, so you have almost 3 months to try it without any financial risk and just decide for yourself. See what the best brain fuel formula on Earth can do for your mindset. Go to neurohacker.com/reps for up to $100 off Qualia Mind. And as a listener of Between the Reps, use code REPS at checkout for an additional 15% off any purchase. That's neurohacker.com/reps and use code REPS for an additional 15% off to experience life-changing mental performance from Qualia Mind.